Welcome to the weekend live show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Canton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave your clothes, buddy, and
hey, you're a funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a friggin' idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. He's more a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody.
You're not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, log out.
Let's get this party started.
It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom. Bring that noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Separating from the boys. Chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this. So it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
Bang, bang. What's up, Turtle Riders? How's everyone doing out there tonight? Good, good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your fearless host. They call me Uncle Turtleboy around these parts. At least they used to. Everybody calls me doctor now. Big fan of that. Let's keep sticking with that. That is also, well, because, you know, Jill Biden's a doctor, then I'm definitely a doctor. I've done a lot more than her. You can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter account is at Dr. Turtleboy. That's DOCTOR Turtleboy. I think I'm up to like 40, almost 44,000 followers on there. Whatever. It's hard to keep track these days. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, because we just passed 42,000 subs today. So that's pretty cool. And make sure you subscribe to our Rumble channel. We're also on live on Rumble right now. Boom. There's a Rumble channel. So we get suspended from YouTube a lot. It's going to keep happening. There's nothing we can do about it. It's usually like a week at a time. And we just do our shows from Rumble. I see 397 people watching on Rumble. So I see all my Rumble rats over there. So that's cool. All right. So make sure you subscribe to that because we do the show every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp. New year, new turtle. I'm always on time now. It's pretty cool. You can also join Turtle Club, where you get that extra premium stream on Thursday nights at 9:30. You also get ad-free on the website for only $15 a month doing that. So that's nifty as well. A little perk there. And you're supporting Turtleboy. You're making sure that we don't care about advertisers. We're not relying on advertisers because you guys become the customer when we do that. So that's pretty sweet. What else am I missing? Yeah, so my name's Aidan again. You can call me Clarence, Doctor, Uncle, whatever you want to call me. Just be here at that time. Follow me on Facebook. My Facebook account is Clarence Woods Emerson. I think it's up to like 38,000. Then we have the Turtleboy page that just passed 30,000, even though we just lost a page with 40,000 a few months ago. It's just wild, man. They try to take us down all the time. They try to, and they do. They take down our pages all the time. It's like they never learn. We just build new ones. It's not a big deal. No sweat off of my back, because I know Turtle Riders are everywhere. And we're going to be everywhere this upcoming week. I am going to be doing a lot of traveling lately. And we're going to get to exactly what that entails. I'll just tell you what it entails. So I've decided that I'm going to do, got a couple protests planned, right? But I also, my new goal here is to just spread the word about the Karen Read trial and the Karen Read case to every single town in Norfolk County. Because again, this is where potential jurors are going to come from. And everyone in these towns needs to know the truth. They cannot be told lies, because as you saw last night with Michael Morrissey, their plan is to lie. Their plan is to just, and we're going to break down this whole thing tonight. But their plan is to lie. And people trust this asshole because he's been there since 2010 and no one ever runs against him. But there are 27 towns and cities in this county, starting with Bellingham is in there. That's far. Jesus. Medway, Franklin, Plainville, Rentham. Plainville is in, I thought that would be Bristol. Rentham, Norfolk, Millis, Foxborough, Sharon, Walpole, Medfield, Dover, Needham, Wellesley, Dedham, Brookline for some reason is in there too. Westwood, Norwood, Canton obviously is right in the middle. Stoughton, Avon, Holbrook, Randolph, Milton, Quincy, which is, I guess, by far the biggest probably city in this entire county. Braintree, like I said, Weymouth, and then for some reason they skip Hingham and Hull and they go to Cohasset, and they have like islands in Norfolk County. I don't know why, but those are the places. So I am going to, my goal is to hold some sort of rally, or maybe not necessarily a protest, but like raise awareness. That is my new goal here, is to raise awareness about the Karen Read case in Norfolk County. I saw somebody on the Justice for John and Karen page, which I highly recommend everyone join on Facebook, because a lot of good commentary goes on in there, a lot of good discussion. You can learn a lot just by talking to other people about the case and whatnot. You learn a lot more there than you would be from, listening to anything Michael Morrissey has to say, that fat lardo. But my goal here is to go, and I saw in those groups, I saw that somebody shared some sort of business card, I think, with a QR code to the framed video. If you guys haven't seen the framed video, whenever somebody asks about, what is this case all about? I'm new here. Can you give me the, the Reader's Digest? The easiest way to do that is just copy and paste the link to the framed video, which is featured on our YouTube page when you go to it. Copy and paste that and send it to them. And it's like 30 minutes, and it's so concise, and it gets all the facts in there, and that's what people need to see. So I saw somebody make a card with that, and it's got the QR code. Yeah, let's get Janetti's thing out of there. Doctors and us. It's got a QR code to the frame video. So I want to just start going to grocery stores in these towns and just handing them out, and like, ask me about Karen Read. I'll tell you about Karen Read. I want to make it impossible for them to have a pool of like 100 jurors without people knowing about this case. Like, we are going to, because it's on now. Like, that's what Morrissey did yesterday. Morrissey's goal with that bullshit 5-minute video filled with lies is to poison a potential jury pool with lies. And we're not going to allow that to happen. We are going to give them the truth instead. We are going to provide the jury with the truth. The YouTube's frozen? No, it shouldn't be. We're going to provide the jury, any potential jury, with the truth about this case, because they are going to try to lie. And so somebody has to tell them the truth. So that's what I'm going to start doing before this trial, which I think more and more it appears this trial is going to happen. I didn't remember. I'm on record saying, a million times, I don't think it's going to happen. I changed my mind. I reserve the right to change my mind. I changed my mind about Sandra Birchmore after learning more. And I've changed my mind about this, especially after Morrissey's thing last night. I think that makes it very obvious what his intention here is. And I think his intention is to bring this case to a trial, lose it, and say, I tried. I think that's what they're trying to do here. Nothing else makes sense to me. That video is freaking bizarre. And we're gonna rewatch it and whatever. But I'll make announcements. Now, Morrissey has an event coming up in Quincy on Wednesday at 5:30. I don't know if it's a fundraiser or what it is. But let me see here. If I can. So I got a bunch. I posted it on my Facebook page. See if I can pull it up. What's this? Okay. Oh, okay. So that I'm going to message the woman about him tomorrow. That is genius. Those cards are genius. I love that. It's just so simple. You tell them about Karen Reed and boom, she's being framed for murder. Obviously, people are just going about their day. They can't talk for too long. So you just got to give them something. And hopefully they go home and they scan it on their phones or whatever. You watch for 5 minutes and you're hooked. You're hooked. We got them. If you haven't seen the video, yeah, go watch the video, man. Go watch the video. All right. So let me pull it up here. There it is. Yeah, it's at the 29 Hancock Street. It's called the Adams Inn. Now, it's like a hotel right on the water, too. So I don't know where it's going to be. It starts at 5:30. It says Michael Morrissey, Norfolk DA, invites you to his annual summer barbecue at the Adams Inn in Quincy, Mass. Wednesday, August 30th at 5:30 to 8 p.m. This is not a fundraiser. So I don't know what that means. This is not a fundraiser. Your attendance is your contribution. So who's invited and how do you get in? That's what, and I want to find out. Now I thought about this. I'm like, should I go alone? Because I want to get in and not cause, I make an announcement about this, that we're holding a protest outside of there and they're going to be on edge, right? They might not let people in, whatever. But it's just fuck it. No. We're not letting this, we're going to go everywhere. We got an army of people behind us that are hungry for this after what that piece of shit did last night. And we are going to be loud and vocalize our disgust with this pig, this monstrous, evil pig named Michael Morrissey. And we're going to make life extremely uncomfortable for him. That's it. He thinks he's going to tell us not to exercise our First Amendment rights. Oh, no. Oh, no. We're going to do it 10 times louder now. That's what we're going to do. You're not going to tell us to stop. You're not going to kill a police officer, frame an innocent woman, protect the murderers, and then tell us to stop talking about it and stop mentioning the facts of the case, including the names of the people who killed John O'Keefe. You guys already tried that. Ken Berkowitz tried that. Ken Berkowitz contacted a Boston 25 News reporter on February 1st after that news reporter mentioned that John O'Keefe's body was found on the lawn of Boston Police Sergeant Brian Albert. He showed me the messages. And he tried to get him, and he did take the tweet down because he just didn't want to deal with Ken Berkowitz. He thought Ken Berkowitz was a douchebag. Didn't want to deal with him. But he never forgot it. He contacted me about that. He might testify at trial. We'll see. A lot of people might testify at trial. So this trial, I think, is going to happen. And I would estimate, there's been so much pretrial stuff and discovery coming in that, it'll be under a year this happens. A year from now, this will all be over. I don't know when, but within a year. And Karen Reed will be free. But the question is, will the people who did this be held responsible? Because it's very clear from that video from Morrissey yesterday that they're going down with the ship. They're digging in. They don't give a shit, man. They don't care. They do not care. What we are looking at and what we are up here against is pure, unadulterated evil. There's no other way around it. So when she goes to trial, this is going to be expensive, obviously, for her. And not because, she obviously she got to pay the attorneys, who I assume are on retainer or something, and she's probably paid up for that. But it's the experts that cost all the money, because people don't work for free, right? Especially when you're the defense, you have to, and you want stuff analyzed. The state's not going to do that for you. Obviously, they're not going to help you out. So you need to hire experts to do this. And so that Rick, I don't even want to guess how much that it cost to hire Rick Green to do everything he did. Because he doesn't work for cheap, I'm sure. Because he's one of the best in the country at what he does. And anyone who questions him is a fucking moron. Like, there's no other way around it. If you still don't believe that Jennifer McCabe Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m., there's just no other way around it. You're a moron. Like, you're a simpleton and a fool who believes the word of Adam Lally, a pathological liar. Like, there's no other way around it. You're a stupid person. Shame on you. Put your helmet on when you drive in your car, because you're in danger at all times. But so we are going to need to help her, obviously. So on that note, so tonight, I am donating 50% of all donated money tonight to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. 50%, whatever we donate. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to be documenting this stuff. I'm going to have a pen. Okay. Going to add it all up. Obviously, I see the turtle chats on my end. Last time we did this, we raised, I think, $2,000. So it was like 2,060. So it was 1,030 each. So we are going to donate 50% of all donated money. I'm going to add it up. Now, there's two ways you can give. Okay. You can click at the link at the top to something called Turtle Chat. You can donate whatever amount of money you want. And when that happens, you get to, write a little message. I will receive that message in my inbox and I will read it out loud to the class, and we'll add all the money up at the end, and whatever happens there. Okay. So you can also cash at me at $UncleTurtleboy. $UncleTurtleboy. If you're watching on Rumble, I don't want to keep checking the money over. Like, it's easier if it's in one place. So I'm going to post the link right now in Rumble. If you're one of the, how many people we got over there right now on Rumble? We got 1,123 people on Rumble. Okay. So that's the turtle chat there. Okay. And I think it's in the bio on the Rumble too as well, but we're going to do it that way. So let me just get it started. So we got to read this real quick. The people who've already donated to this, right? All right. So first up, we got, when's the 10th this one? Okay. We got Leah sends $25. Thank you very much, Leah. Her comment is get justice for O'Keefe and Karen Reed. That's the plan. Thank you, Leah. We got Aidan. Oh, no, that's me. I tested it out. Okay. Kelly sends $75. $1 for every year Bill Reed has been alive. Today is the birthday, I'm told, of William Reed, the patriarch of the Reed family, Karen's father. Really nice guy. And that man has been put through hell, obviously. Imagine your daughter was put through this, watching her helplessly in the gallery as she's brought in handcuffs, and she didn't do it. Imagine how painful that is. Well, this guy's 75th birthday today. So in his honor, Kelly, who I believe is his niece, sends $75, says, you are an amazing father, husband, and cousin. Our family cherishes you and truly admires your strength. Love, Kelly, Tammy, Debbie, and Lori. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Hashtag we love Turtleboy. Well, thank you very much, Kelly. I appreciate that. Joelle sends $50, says, go get him, Tiger. You're the best. Well, thank you very much, Joelle. I appreciate that. Deanna sends $10, says, from one internet troll to another, they hating you. We love you. Well, thank you. I'm going to embrace the troll term. DW sends $50, says, for Turtleboy and for Karen, Morrissey, resign, you fat bastard. It's people like you that quickly make people lose faith in the system. You are sucky. Don't disagree with that. Thank you very much, DW. Patrice sends $25 and says, keep up the fight for right, Dr. Turtleboy. Be smart. Continue to be tenacious. Well, thank you very much, Patrice. V sends $20, says, please watch How to Fix a Drug Scandal on Netflix. Evidence was hidden, corrupt. That was the Annie Dukin one. Oh, I've watched that one. Oh, yes. Big Irish Schween sends $5, says, you better be right about this case. I'm all in and going broke for you. Oh, believe me, I'm not wrong about this one. Melinda sends $50. Thank you, Melinda, and says, can't wait until Wednesday. Appreciate that. Karen sends $20, says, doing a great job. I appreciate that very much. Jenny B sends $23 and says, is it working? Thank you. Thank you, Jenny B. Maureen sends 20 and says, Mike Morrissey's pants must be on fire. Liar, liar. They really might be. Check those out. We got a few more here. Just got to bust through. Louise sends $25 and says, free Karen Reed. John deserves better. Jackie sends $10, says, keep up the great work. Thank you, Jackie. Amanda sends 15 and says, thanks, doctor, for all your hard work, dedication, and having the big balls to stand up to these fucking losers. Keep doing what you're doing. But shit, guess what? Shut the fuck up. We need guess what? Shut the fuck up shirts. Those are my favorite. Kimberly sends $100. Thank you, Kimberly, and says, let the losers know donos are tax deductible. Agent O. Thank you very much, Kimberly. Rob sends 50 big ones and says, keep up the pressure. They are cracking. That they are, Rob. KK sends $10. No comment, but thank you, KK. Jay sends $50. Again, no comment, but we appreciate the dono. And go over here and check the Cash Apps. Got a few of these as well. Man, Pete, you guys are fucking killing it tonight. We're gonna watch it. We are gonna watch the video, I promise. But I just gotta give my shout outs to all the people here. Is this tonight? Okay. So we have here. Let's see. Hold on. I got a bunch. Hold on. I don't want to miss anyone. Okay. Wildflower sends 20 and says, fuck Morrissey. Absolutely. Brittany sends $25 and says, this is war. Hashtag free Karen Reed. That it is. Melissa sends $20 and says, how dare he? Let's fucking go, Doc. Hashtag FKR. Absolutely. JB sends $5, says, need to call 𝗄𝗲𝗄𝗆 Morrissey tonight. If anyone has his cell phone number, send it over. Justin Green sends $25 and says, is this the Mass Attorney General able to make Morrissey drop the case? I don't know how that works, but thank you for the dono, Justin. Mo L sends $25 and says, for the DA is the troll. Time for Turtleboy justice. Absolutely. Then we have Mo. I don't know where it was, Mo. Then we had Carla sends $10, says, for Carla and Erica on Cape Cod, I love you. Let's fucking go. Yes. JB sends, I have his phone. Okay. I got his phone number. Okay. Thank you. Okay. That was cool. From JB, who sends $1, but sends his phone number for diabetes whale Morrissey. Absolutely. Janine sends $20 with prayers. Thank you, Janine. Jules, the spiritualist, sends $1, says, sorry, all I got. How long before my paycheck come? We'll take anything. Paul sends $50 and says, for free Karen Reed, please don't post. Too late. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. But there's a lot of polls. Jody sends $50 and says, free Karen Reed. Thank you very much. John sends $5 for give him the hell I faced. The Untouchables in Rhode Island. Thank you, John. Patricia sends $20 and says, for Plainville, standing up for Karen. Go, Doc. Thank you, Patricia. We got Blurred Lines. Sends, I already had no faith in the judicial process. And so thank you very much there, Blurred Lines. And, it's really sad that this happened, that our faith in the judicial process has gotten like this. But yeah, if you, so I'll keep checking my Cash Apps periodically throughout the night and my turtle chats. I see a bunch more came in. I'm going to read those during the show, but we got to get started here. So I'm going to read those, but thank you, man. We're on a freaking roll already. Holy shit. Let's do it. All right. So, yeah, I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. So let's just get started with this, shall we? All right. We're going to watch this whole thing in its entirety right now. So I ranted in the car when I heard about this yesterday. When I got in the car, I'm like sweaty. I'm like, fucking Friday night news dump. Are you kidding me? This is where they're supposed to share the shit that they don't want you to see, but we're not going to forget this. We're not going to forget this, are we? And I listened to it live. I had only listened like the first 10 seconds before I went live. And it was the first 10, 15 seconds was so outrageous that I thought, I'm like, that's as bad as it gets. No, it got worse. It got progressively worse as it went on, and we're going to listen to it now. Okay, so let's pull this up. Yeah, I love the library behind him. Oh my God. All right, so first of all, just look at this dude. Just look at him. Look how unhealthy he looks. It's like this is the face of like a throwback 80s Boston politician, right? I mean, they all look like this, don't they? You could tell this guy has never had a job that doesn't come from the government. Like he's never accepted a paycheck that doesn't come from the government. He is a bloated, overpaid, useless chode getting by on his political connections. Keep in mind, this guy became the district attorney of Norfolk County in 2010 because I think he was a state rep for a long time before that. He's politically connected. The DA in Norfolk County before him was William Keating, Bill Keating. Bill Keating is now the congressman for most of, I think, Cape Cod to New Bedford. And, you know, how it works is you basically just hand down the right. Like, he gets to pick who's next, democracy. And this guy, you know, all the money gets behind this guy. He's got over $500,000 in his campaign war chest that he doesn't have to spend because nobody ever runs against him. And we're going to see so many people have donated to this guy's campaign. So many state troopers. The Massachusetts State Police Union endorses this schmuck. And he's going to cover for them. Like, just look at this guy. Look at him. This is the face of, like, this is Massachusetts, right? Supposedly one of the most liberal, progressive states in the country. And who represents this county? An old, bloated, entrenched, fat, white guy, right? This is what progress looks like to these people. And he's a Democrat, of course. The party of progress. And this is the face of it, though. This is the face of it. And let me be very clear right now. Okay. As you guys know, I am a radical conservative, right? I'm a right-wing nut job. Fully embrace it. I voted for Donald Trump twice. If I have to in the general election, I'll vote for him again. But I like Ron DeSantis because I think he's more conservative. That's how I'm a rabid right-winger. Okay. However, I will, because this guy has never been, I realize he can never lose to a Republican cannot beat him in Norfolk County. It's impossible. Those are all Democratic towns. So the only way he can lose is if he's primaried. Another Democrat has to run against him in a primary. And because this guy is known as like a moderate for Democrats, there's the only type of Democrat who can beat him is some sort of radical, communist, Soros-funded district attorney candidate, like a Rachel Rollins type. Like, maybe not necessarily like her, maybe not as corrupt as her, but one of those crazy Green New Deal people, right? And let me be very clear. I will endorse that person, whoever that is. I don't care. I will endorse Hitler over this piece of shit. Like, I'm not like this guy, maybe not Hitler. Maybe not Hitler, but like, you know, someone who's pretty bad, like Putin. I'll go with Putin. I would endorse Putin over this guy. Okay. And I don't care. Like AOC, anyone I would endorse. And if that person gets in office, I'll criticize them, obviously. But you cannot be in office if you're willing to do what this guy's doing. Like, this is beyond politics. This is this guy willing to send an innocent woman to prison for the rest of her life and cover up for the murder of a cop. Don't care what your politics are. I'm going to vote for whoever's against this guy, period. End of story. And I hope someone does. So let's play this.
This will be the first statement of its kind in my dozen years as Norfolk District Attorney. The harassment of witnesses in the murder prosecution of Karen Reed is absolutely baseless.
Okay. First things first here. Notice how this idiot has to read off a fucking script. That's how bootleg he is. He's sitting there. He spends 99% of the time reading off something right in front of him. He can't even like how he's too boomerish to have them on the word, like the words in front of him or a teleprompter or something. And he wants to sound enlightened and smart. And so they decided, let's film you with all these books behind you, because that way you're going to look wicked smart. Except if you look at the books too, like he wants to sound so smart here, like they're out of order. They're not even in the right. 435, 434, 419, 418. It's like this guy tries to look like enlightened and shit, and he even does that wrong. He even does that wrong. And so the first thing he's talking about is the harassment of state's witnesses. So this is like immediately like the Helena Rafferty speech about, oh, leave Jen McCabe alone. Poor Jen McCabe is a victim. She's a witness. What did they witness? What did any of these people witness? Brian Albert didn't even come outside the house. What did he witness? Jennifer McCabe, not a single one of them saw Karen Reed run over John O'Keefe because it never happened. Nobody witnessed anything. Actually, they did. They did witness something. They witnessed John O'Keefe being beaten to death inside the house. That's what they all witnessed. So
it should be an outrage.
Should be.
To any decent person.
You're decent.
And it needs to stop.
Okay. It should be an outrage to any decent person. So if you are against this sham prosecution, you're not decent. He starts off by calling you names. You're not decent. And it needs to stop. Or else, who the fuck do you think you're talking to, fat boy? Huh? Who do you think you're talking to, fatso? It needs to stop? You think I'm a child? You get to tell me to stop? I'm an American citizen. I have constitutional rights, including the right to petition the government and protest and assemble. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. That is exactly what I'm going to do. You think you're going to tell me to stop? I mean, what was he thinking with this? What was he thinking that this would be a good idea to get on here and say they need to stop? Did he think that we were all going to be like, you know what? He's got a good point, guys. He shamed us. I feel silly now. I wasn't being decent before, but Michael Morrissey told me I need to stop. And that bloated gas bag has been in office since the beginning of time. So I better listen to him.
Innuendo is not evidence.
Innuendo is not evidence.
False narratives are not evidence. However, what evidence does show is that John O'Keefe never entered the home at 34 Fairview Road in Canton the night he died.
John, the evidence shows that John never entered the home. I mean, this is gaslighting. That John never entered the home. The evidence absolutely shows that John entered the home. It's called cell phone data. It's how murders are solved in this day and age. The cell phone data shows that John was ascending and descending stairs inside the house. That's what it shows. That's what the Celebrate shows us. So you're just lying to us.
Location data from his phone, recovered from the lawn beneath his body when he was transported to the hospital, shows that his phone did not enter that home. 11 people have given statements that they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night.
11 people gave statements saying they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night. 11 people. Well, who are those 11 people? Michael Morrissey? Let's count them. Let's write them all down. Who are the 11 people? Because Jill Daniels, by the way, said it was 6. So who are the 11 people that gave statements? Let's do it as a class right now. Who gave the statements that said John O'Keefe isn't there? So there's 1, Brian Albert. 2, Nicole Albert, right? I believe she did. Yeah, she definitely did. 3, Jen McCabe. 4, Matt McCabe. Who else is on this list? Colin Albert is not one of those 11 people. Well, first of all, if he is, then he's admitting he was in the house. But Colin Albert has never been spoken to from someone from the district attorney's office or the state police. No one. Sarah Levinson is one of them for sure. Another one would be Julie Nagel. Definitely those 6 have. Who are the other 5? Who are the other 5 that said that John O'Keefe never came in the house? Who are they? Well, Brian Higgins. I mean, has anyone seen that in writing where Brian Higgins said he came in the house? I'll put him on the list just for shits and giggles now. He's like a maybe. I can't say that. It can't be Tristan. It can't be Tristan because Tristan's story is he didn't come in the house. Right? Tristan's story is he didn't go in the house. Kaylin Albert's story is she got there and immediately left. Brian Albert Jr. was in the house the entire time, has never been questioned by police. Never been questioned by police. He's given no statements. None. The duty girl, Emily Fabiano, Mary Kent, they were all in the house, but they all claim to have left long before the grown-ups got back home because, you know, kids that young in their early 20s, they like to leave and go to bed. They don't like partying. So I got 7, man. I got Brian, Coco, Jen, Matt, Sarah, Julie, and maybe Brian Higgins. At most 7. So who are these 11 people that said they didn't get in the house? Now let's talk about, would any of these people lie? Well, Brian Albert certainly would. He has reason to lie, right? Because why? Oh, yeah. He might have been involved in the murder. He's very likely involved in the murder. So why wouldn't he lie? Of course he's going to lie. He was never, he didn't come outside the house. He acted suspiciously. He sold the house. He got rid of the floor. He got rid of the dog. Did the dog, maybe one of the dog is one of the 11 people. I don't know. I don't know who these 11 people are. And by the way, Chris Albert and Julie Albert. Oh, and Julie Albert. I know Julie's watching right now. So I just want to say to Julie, you know, that it would be a real shame if you ended up on Turtleboy one day, huh? Would that be like your worst nightmare? Was that what you would call it? Maybe you'd call it that. If it would be your worst nightmare, Julie, to end up on, because I know you're watching Julie Albert, so I'm talking directly to you right now. It's just me and you, baby girl. Because I know your precious little baby Colin, you want to protect him. But you can't protect him anymore. We're sending that fucker to jail. Just know that. This little shit dick right here.
Yo, your advantage, boys. I will beat all your asses. I promise you, I will fuck you all up. Pull up, bitch. You're a bitch, bro. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, you pussy.
Clean code, boy. You be knocked out. KO. Bang, bang.
Bang. That little Hellraiser that you raised, that's what failed parenting looks like, by the way. We're sending that little fucker to jail. Just know that. Your little baby's going to jail. And so, you know, I bet, I'd be willing to bet, Julie, that your worst night, because I know that you and Chris and Jill were big fans of the blog over the years. Real big fans of the blog. I know people got pictures of you guys, or they said they don't have pictures of you, but they've seen you in Turtleboy gear. You're that big fans of the blog. And so I know, and I bet that your worst fear, and just Julie, this is not for Chris, nobody else. This message is for Julie Albert. I bet your biggest fear is ending up on Turtleboy once. But I got one better for you. We got 4 straight months of nonstop putting you on the blog. Nonstop. And I show up for your kids' lacrosse games too. That might be a much bigger nightmare than appearing once, Julie Albert. So that message is for you. And Julie knows what I'm talking about, but that's cool. Julie knows it because she was a big fan. She was a big fan and she hates it. So there we go. She would hate to see that happen, but here we are. So yeah, I got 7, but at one point, Julie and Chris definitely said, and people send me this shit all the time. I forget about it. Like they're on the record for saying they went back to 34 Fairview. Nothing. And I bet they were there. I think Julie and Chris both went there. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. And I'm going to be honest. I think Chris got a ride home from Jen McCabe's daughter, from his oldest daughter, Allie. I think she gave him a ride home. And I think she knows everything that happened too. I don't know if she was in the house when it happened, but someone Colin's age had to have been in that house with him, because Colin was 17, almost 18 at the time. Why is he hanging out with 25-year-olds? Who were his homeboys there? Who is he making videos like that for? I don't know. So I count 7, and Nicole, Jen, and Matt obviously have a reason to lie. What's Sarah Levinson's reason to lie? Well, she witnessed a murder. And she's like, it's like, what else is there? She's friends with Brian Albert Jr., good friends with Brian Albert Jr. and Julie Nagel, who's Brian Albert Jr.'s girlfriend. And they don't want their friends to go to jail. How about that? It's really simple. And really didn't require much of a lie. Just say it. He didn't come in the house. That's it. Higgins, yeah. But I don't know about Higgins. Maybe Higgins flipped. And she's a nurse. Shame on her. She should never. And Sarah Levinson, when this all comes said and done, you're probably not going to like go to jail or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about that. But you should never be allowed to be a nurse again for the rest. And we'll make sure of that. We will make sure of that. You will never be a nurse again in this state. You'll have to move to another state and change your name, because if you're involved in this shit, I'm giving you one chance, Sarah Levinson, one chance, because I know you're watching this too, to come clean and rat on them. Come to Dr. Turtleboy. I'll protect you. That's what I do. I protected Lucky Lachlan. It's pronounced Lachlan, by the way. I protected Lucky Lachlan. I can protect you too. I can protect Brian Higgins. I encourage you to be a rat. Snitch. Do it. Because failure to do so will mean when this is all said and done and the bad guys go to jail and Karen Reed is acquitted and rich and famous, then we're just going to get started with you. And you will never work we will go to any hospital that you work at. We will be petitioning outside of it. You let a man die under your watch. You have a duty to preserve life, and you let that man die. Burn in eternal hell, you evil cunt. Sorry. Oh, I said a bad word, but it's okay. She let a man die in front of her. She's a cunt. Sorry. Is what it is. All right, back to this.
0 people have said that they saw him enter the home. 0. No one.
No one. So there's another lie. 0 people said that he entered the home. Karen Reed just said that on national TV the other day, that he entered the home. Ryan Nagel said that he wasn't in the car. John wasn't in the car, and he wasn't outside of the car. The only other place he could be is in the home. So he didn't see him go in the home, but he knew he was in the home. His testimony tells us he's in the home. So that's 2. That's 2. And the 2 other people in the truck with Ryan Nagel both had the same story as him. So there's that.
Some have, without any evidence, pointed to 18-year-old Colin Albert, a nephew of the homeowner, and accused him of attacking John O'Keefe as he entered the home.
Okay. So this is interesting. At no point in the criminal, besides this blog and some motions that were filed in court but never read in court, Colin Albert's name has never been mentioned in Norfolk District Court. Maybe, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never heard them say the names Colin Albert. I've heard Brian Albert a million times, but not Colin Albert. Now this idiot is on record saying this. So this guy is going to go to bat for Colin Albert. Again, this kid, right? This guy, where'd it go? This is the guy that the Norfolk County DA is.
Bitch, bro. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, you pussy.
Yeah. Clean cold, boy. You be knocked out. KO. Bang, bang.
Now, bang, bang. Now, I'm usually not the kind of guy who plays the race card. Okay. But I just want you to imagine something for a moment, if you will. Imagine that Colin Albert was an 18-year-old black kid from Roxbury or something. Grew up poor, and he makes videos like that. Gangsta, videos, right? What would the expectation be? What would society's expectation for that individual be? You would assume that you'd be like, oh, that guy's going to jail. That guy's that guy deals drugs. That guy's like going nowhere in life. That guy's not going to contribute anything. That would be the expectation. But when it's Colin Albert, when it's an 18-year-old white kid from Canton who comes from a well-connected family, the assumption is that, oh man, he's got a bright future in front of him. He's got something of value. We have to protect him. We have to protect his bright future. And again, I don't do the white privilege thing. I'm against that whole concept because I think it just, there's some aspects of it, like, where I think there's actually advantages to not being white. But in this case, Colin Albert, if there is a white privilege thing, Colin Albert is the face of white privilege. Like he is. Think of this. Think of how privileged he is. His entire existence, his entire life has been, he grew up in a wealthy town. He didn't earn that. I mean, his dad's a complete degenerate loser, and he's still got everything he needs. And he gets in fights all the time, makes videos like this.
Yo, your advantage boys, I will beat all your asses. I promise you, I will fuck you all up. Pull up, bitch.
Really gets in fights, contributes nothing to society at all, is a total meathead, right? Is inside a house where a Boston police officer is killed. He is the only one in that house who has a documented problem with John O'Keefe and a history of confrontation with John O'Keefe. He is very likely the person who killed John O'Keefe. Under any circumstances, he would be the prime suspect in this. And he makes videos like that. Now imagine a 18-year-old black kid, right, from Roxbury is in a house where a Boston police officer is killed and dumped outside. And that kid has a history of getting in a lot of fights and making videos like that you can easily access on social media, right? How would society treat that person? How would the powers that be treat that person? That's just another black guy they're going to lock up. I mean, it's like, they'd look at it like, throw him, whatever. But because he's a white kid from the suburbs, we have to protect him. We have to protect Colin's future. Not only talk about privilege. He is so privileged that he gets to kill Boston police officers and never even be questioned by police. Never even be questioned by police. Have some of the most powerful people, including his uncle, cover up for him. And a state trooper, detective, who he's known since he was born, Michael Proctor, make sure that he is never questioned. And to go the extra mile, they are going to frame an innocent woman just to protect you. But that's not enough privilege for Colin Albert. He also, because that's not enough. All of the privilege that Colin Albert has had is not sufficient. No. They also need the most powerful person in law enforcement in this county, Michael Morrissey, to put out a 5-minute video explaining why Colin is innocent and making up documented lies in order to do that. Is Colin Albert not the most privileged person who has ever existed? I mean, seriously. It's like the Murdoch. I mean, it's wild what this kid can get away with. The protection that this young man has. But they can't protect you from me, Colin. Got bad news.
But phone evidence shows O'Keefe never entered the home at all. Testimony from witnesses tell us that 18-year-old Colin Albert had left his uncle's home before John O'Keefe and Karen Reed had arrived outside the residence.
Testimony from witnesses tells us that Colin Albert had left before John O'Keefe and Karen Reed arrived outside the residence. Well, according to the grand jury testimony of Brian Albert, he said that he left the Waterfall bar when the bar closed. Bar closes at midnight. And they drove home. Estimated time of getting there is approximately 12:15. Brian Albert said that when he got there, Colin was there. So Colin Albert could not have left because Brian Albert got there no more than 2 or 3 minutes before John O'Keefe and Karen Reed did. So Colin Albert had not left yet, according to Brian Albert himself. So that is a documented lie. What he just said there is an easily disprovable lie.
There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home.
There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. How do you know that John O'Keefe, there was no fight in the home? How do you know? Have you photographed the people that were inside the home? Have you searched the home? Have you looked for signs of a struggle inside the home or blood inside the home? Have you done any of that? How can you state as a fact that there was no fight inside the home? How do you know? Your office has not investigated that angle, right? And more importantly, and I'll ask this again, if John O'Keefe was not killed inside the home, then why are you going to such great lengths to tell us that Colin Albert was not in the home? It doesn't matter who was in the home. If John O'Keefe didn't go in, then he wasn't killed in the home. So why your insistence that Colin Albert was not in that home is your tell. It is your tell. It tells us all that John O'Keefe was killed inside that house, which is why you want to make it so clear and try to lie to us and tell us that he was never in the house.
Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street.
The young man being vilified. Again, notice how he always says 18-year-old Colin Albert, the young man. They are trying to make it seem like this kid he's a kid. They're trying to bring out his youthfulness. And again, think about if Colin was some 18-year-old black kid from Roxbury doing the same things that he was doing. Would he be referred to as an 18-year-old young man? Would he? I don't think he would.
This is a false narrative.
No.
Not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative.
False narrative. Look at, he can't even look at the camera.
Colin Albert didn't commit murder.
Colin Albert didn't commit murder.
Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder.
These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder. How do you know? Did you ever investigate any of them? Did you ever treat any of them as suspects? Did you separate them and question them? Did you ask to look at their phones? Did you get subpoenas for their phones? Brian Albert could easily prove, I mean, if I'm Brian Albert and all this shit is out there about me and everyone's accusing me of being a murderer and killing another Boston cop and I didn't do it, I couldn't wait to hand over my phone. When I was wrongly accused about 4 months ago of calling Krusty Panty's brat teenage kid there, right? I contacted, because she had an ex parte order that we got thrown out a couple days later. But in that 2-week period there, they tried to violate me by Krusty Panties called her own daughter and spoofed my phone to it in order to make it seem like I had violated the order. And I found out about this. So I called the North Attleboro police And you know what the first thing I said to the North Attleboro police asked me? They go, yeah, she's already called and told us this. I go, what do you need? They go, would you be willing to hand over your phone? Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. They go, oh, you don't even have to come down here. We can just get your records from Verizon. Do you consent? Yeah, I do. I want you to go through my phone. I go, I would like you to keep that same energy when you find out it wasn't me to finding out who it actually was. I hope you keep that same energy into finding out that. But yes, I will gladly hand over my phone. I will gladly hand over my phone to you because that's what innocent people do. They prove their innocence. You have nothing to hide. There's a reason that the only person who wants to talk in public about any of this is Karen Read. She's the only one. All the people who should be the prime witnesses, you know, and victims or whatever in this case, none of them want to talk. None of them want to talk. None of them come to court anymore because they're afraid to be asked questions. So Brian Albert, he says, and Nicole Albert and Matt McCabe and Jen McCabe are not involved in any sort of conspiracy. How does he know that if we have not looked at his phone? How do we know what Brian Albert was or wasn't involved in? You never looked at his phone. As a matter of fact, your own office, the Norfolk County DA's office, filed a lengthy opposition and held 2 hearings in order to prevent the defense from getting access to his phone. Why on earth would you do that? Why? Why do you care if the defense gets Brian Albert's phone? How does that affect your case against Karen Read? You believe Karen Read did this. You're pretty confident in it. So you know that, I mean, what the fuck does it matter what's on Brian Albert's phone? He didn't do it, right? So why would you and what interest does your office have? I understand Greg Henning not wanting him to hand over the phone, but what interest does your office have, the Norfolk County DA's office have, in making sure that that phone is not handed over? I wonder. And there was no conspiracy? Then why is Jen McCabe Googling how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m.? He never mentions that Google search during this entire rant. I'm shocked that he didn't say that was a lie. But why did she Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. if they weren't planning on putting John's body in the cold? Why? You tell me. Why did Jen call Nicole Albert at 6:07 and again at 6:08 and whisper something into that phone? I would imagine. And said something like, Karen's outside. Don't come out. Click. Something like that. Why would she do that if they weren't conspiring to cover this up? And more importantly, how can you say that there's no conspiracy if you have not investigated that angle? Like, what? Seriously. Like, I can understand your office pushing the Karen Read did it narrative. You're all in on that one. But why are you so all in on these other people aren't involved? Why are you so all in on that? Because you didn't even investigate that. You've kind of investigated the Karen Read thing. You planted some taillight and you did some tests and whatever. But you haven't investigated that angle at all. So why are you even commenting on it?
Or any crime that night. They have been forthcoming with authority, providing statements, and have not engaged in any cover-up. They are not suspects in any crime. They are merely witnesses in the case.
And therein lies the problem. They're not. We know they're not suspects, dumbass. We know that. That's the problem, is they're not suspects. And yes, she Googled it again at 6:23 and 6:24. Why did she Google the same thing that she Googled at 2:27? Why? They're separate. They come up separately on the Celebrate. They both come up on Celebrate. One was deleted, one was not. Why? Why did she delete those? What kind of person deletes their calls? Only the calls. She didn't delete anything after 7 a.m. She only deleted things between 5 and 7 a.m. Who does that? Why? Like, how is that not immediately suspicious? Any cop would immediately be like, that's really suspicious. Why did you do that? Because I can understand when people say, well, I just delete everything because it takes up too much space on my phone. A lot of people delete their texts because it takes up a lot of space storage on your phone. Okay. But she only deleted stuff during that time period. That's it. She didn't delete anything else. She deleted the goddamn 911 call because she probably just check, delete. It's just delete them all. Delete them all. Seriously. But before we go forward, let me just read. I'm going to take a break to read a couple donos here. Because again, remember, all 50%. Holy shit. We got a lot of Charles chats. I got to bang through them here. 50% of all donated money tonight will go to the Karen Reed Defense Fund. So let me read some of these off real quick. I'm going to bang through them. All right, let's do them. All right, we got Mike sends $10 and says the Michael Morrissey Ozempic Fund. Nice. Suzanne sends $100. Thank you, Suzanne. And says, how dare they? All caps. You're goddamn right, Suzanne. Suzanne sends another 50. Says, let's shut this motherfucker down. Which car are we taking? Much love, Doc, and to all the riders. Thank you, Suzanne. Next up, we got Pissed Off Milfordian sends $50 and says, Judy Dag, you suck. All right. Susan sends 25 and says, thank you, Turtleboy. You are truly a great journalist. You're doing a great job. We love you. Well, thank you. I love you too, Susan. Crazy sends $11 and says, 11:11 for all the angels, including John, shining their light down for the truth to come free out. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Hashtag justice for John. Thank you. Janine sends $25 and says, I believe in you, Karen. Thank you. Stephanie sends $50, says, hang in there, Karen. Turtleboy's team is behind you. From a Commonwealth employee. Thank you, Stephanie. Lauren sends $25, says, I've been following you for years, but the most memorable blogs are obviously Karen Reed and the Moms of the South Shore Crazy Scam Lady back in 2017. Oh, Ashley Brady. I remember her. Thank you for exposing the scum of the earth. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. William sends $100. Thank you, William. No comment, but he leaves a hundo. Thank you, sir. Melissa sends $50 and says, been following from California. Good work. Thank you, Melissa. Lindsay sends $10 and says, Aidan, true crime is your calling and standing up for what's right. Looks so good on you. Something led you to this very moment in your life. Your kids will be proud one day when they grow up to see what you have done. We are all behind you. Free Karen Reed. Thank God damn. You guys are going to make me all emotional. It's so nice. Kevin sends $100. Thank you. And says, karma coming. Bang, bang. Thank you for taking up the case. And thank you very much, Kevin, for your support. Lauren sends $75. Says, I am matching Kelly Reed's donation. Happy birthday, Mr. Reed. Justice will prevail. Absolutely. Next up, Mikey sends $100 and says, happy birthday, Mr. Reed. Blowing the candles out to your daughter's freedom. Appreciate that, Mikey. Barbie sends $25. Says, can't wait. Let's do this. Team Mansfield. Excellent. Maureen sends $20 and says, God bless you, Turtle and Karen Reed. And God bless you, Maureen. Dan sends $25, says, F, Mary, kill. Aidan, Wendy Murphy. Oh, F, Mary, kill me. Okay. Wendy Murphy. Let me write down the donor first. Kofandanger or Horseface. Oh, can I kill all of them? I wouldn't put it in any one of those nasty hoes. No, thank you. Thank you. Bob sends $25. Says, time to put a stop to those who abuse power in the state and country. We can only do this together. Thank you, Aidan, for leading the way. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Wendy sends $15. Says, Patty and Quincy on Wednesday. Absolutely. Next up, we got Kim sends $25. Says, keep up the great work. Free Karen Reed. Absolutely. Nani sends $25 and says, I agree. Been laughing since I heard it. Guess what? Shut the fuck up. You rock. Never change. Turn up the heat. Free Karen Reed. Yes. Tony sends $10 and says, keep up the great work. Would love to do you some coverage of the Charlotte Lester case in Rhode Island. Maybe down the line somewhere. Michelle sends $25. Says, keep up the good work. Turtleboy. Hi to my friend Julie watching from Walpole. Danny sends $50 and says, Morrissey poked the turtle. Great work, Doc. Appreciate that, Danny. Patricia sends $50 and says, free Karen. Holy shit. Andrew sends $20 and says, this is for Mike Giannetti since he's been desperate for attention these days. At least he'll now be talked about on the show for a few seconds. Watch out for those rogue Boston cops. Bang, bang. Appreciate that, Andrew. Eileen sends $64 and says, $64 since I will turn 64 on Monday. Happy birthday, Eileen. Thank you very much, darling. Jen sends $10 and says, Bill Ricka, sorry, I pronounce that wrong all the time, hates Canton, loses. Thank you. You guys beat him in lacrosse too, so there's that. Judy sends $30, says, Morrissey, you need to go. Absolutely, it does. Kathleen sends $50 and says, largest donation I've ever made. Thanks to Michael Morrissey. Yeah, you did that, Mike Morrissey. All these people are donating. Like, this is what you did, Michael Morrissey. It was a slower week. It honestly was. They finally got to the Sandra Birchmore stuff. And you decided on Friday that you were going to kick a hornet's nest. That wasn't smart, my dude. That was not smart. Good luck we'll see what happens. Joanne sends $25 and says, happy birthday, Mike 823. You are loved. Yes, you are. Robert sends $100 and says, have a hot dog on me. I'll have 100 hot dogs for that. Chrissy sends another $100. Holy shit. Says, I'm very interested to see what the defense does with this. I'd love to see them file a motion to gag the prosecution. We're going to talk about the implications of this at the end. Says, throw that BS right back in Morrissey and Lally's face. I don't think they're going to motion to gag. I think they got something better in the pipes, I would assume, based on what I've researched. Deanna sends $10 and says, John, and by the way, the fact that the defense has not commented on this yet, because the press contacted them and like, you got anything to say about this? The fact that they, who are usually so quick and happy to speak with the media, have not commented on this makes me wonder what they have in the bag. Doesn't it? I feel like this was the biggest gift that the defense has ever gotten. Like, is the Michael Morrissey speech at the end there. So Deanna sends 10, says John and Jen's cell phone data is not reliable, but Colin's cell phone data is solid and super reliable in confirming his innocence. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of weird how that happens. And sends $20, says Michael Morrissey has to go. And let me remind your audience, there were several articles about Morrissey's report on the Justin Roos shooting by Boston police and Mass State Police, and had many discrepancies that should be major concern to the public. Visit justinroot.com to support an independent investigation. So, again, anybody else wants to donate on Turtle Chat, you can click at the link at the top. You can also cash at me at $Turtleboy. I'm going to read a couple of these off and then get back to the content. Hold on one sec. Okay. We got Kerry Watson sends $75. Number of the night. Says, for the good fight. Love you, Dr. Onk. Happy birthday, Mr. R. Thank you very much. We got Paula Sullivan sends $20. Says, thanks for all your hard work. Thank you, Paula. Cindy sends $25. No comment, but thank you, Cindy, very much. We got here, Thomas sends $25 from Aaron Alvey. He's that's the Little League player I look like, I guess. Yeah, I told that story last week. Thank you, Tom. Joseph sends $20 and says, FYI, by the yard plows are brand new. Check it. Thank you. And by the way, that last donor, that's from law enforcement too. And that says a lot. Like, law enforcement is happy to donate to the defense fund of a woman on trial for killing a police officer. That tells you how bogus this investigation is. Melissa sends $10 and says, dear Michael Morrissey, we dissent. Yes. Danielle sends $20 and says, no comment, but thank you very much, Danielle. Denise sends $50, says, time to dance with Morrissey. Let's go. Absolutely. Linda French sends $25, says, for Michael Morrissey, guess what? Shut the fuck up. Gets me every time. Paula sends $50 and says, I'm listening from Phoenix, Arizona. Free Karen Reed. Danny sends $5, says, for everyone, pour one out for John O'Keefe tonight. R.I.P. Yes, absolutely. Patricia sends $20, says, just to hear you say easy, pussycat. Easy, pussycat. Thank you very much there, Patricia. And another Patricia sends $50, says, F you, Morrissey. I haven't added up all this it's going to be a lot by the end. And I'm going to bang through a couple more turtle chats here. Then we're going to get back to the content. I promise. All right. This one's from Brian. Says, Turtleboy, you have to know everyone involved, including drunken Morrissey. And he is a raging drunk, that guy, huh? Is in too deep in this case. His press conference is pure desperation. Some of the most powerful people in the state know they are exposed or complicit in this case. It will make the Annie Dukin case look like child's play, whether or not they're directly involved. They know murder convictions will be vacated, violent felons released for retrial, millions of taxpayer dollars in fixing the mess. You're dealing with multi-layered. Yeah. And we're going to get to that about like how this can affect other cases shortly. So thank you for that, Brian. Also here we have Sarah sends $100. Thank you, Sarah. She has no comment, but I appreciate the dono. Michael Morrissey sends $10 and says, I'm drunk watching myself on Turtleboy Live. Welcome to the show, Mr. Morrissey. Mike sends $10 and says, for great journalism work, Turtleboy, Linfield wants to free Karen Reed. Absolutely. Christine sends $10, says the barbecue Wednesday is about to turn into a pig roast. Ooh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. So again, if anyone else wants to donate, again, 50% of all donations tonight are going to the Free Karen Reed Defense Fund. And you can click at the link, donate whatever you want, write a message when you do so. I will read your message out loud to the class when I get it. Or you can cash at me $, Uncle Turtleboy. Time to call Michael Morrissey. Let's see if he's awake. He's got to be drunk right now, right? Got to be drunk. And again, if you already sent the donation, I'll come back to that. We'll revisit it. But we got to get back to the content. Hopefully this is his number.
The subscriber, you've received this message in error. Please hang up and try your call again. Message MN1.
All right.
3.
Whoever sent me that's the Morrissey number, but I guess it doesn't work. I don't know if that's somebody sent it to me. I tried it and that's what happens. Nothing comes up. Okay. So he won't answer. Let's call. I'm calling Jill. Let's see what she's up to. She might be drunk. I haven't talked to her in 2 weeks. I haven't heard from her since then. We need to. She's in my contacts as fucking loser. Okay, there she is. Give her a call.
Please leave your message for 78176084995.
Hey Jill, guess what? Shut the fuck up. I'm just kidding, you fucking loser. It's the fucking loser calling. Just want to see, or you can call me a dickhead, whatever you want to call me. I know you don't like when I talk. So I'll try to keep this brief, but just want to hear back from you. I know we had a nice conversation a couple weeks ago. I just want to know, because I know that your sister Julie really, I have a feeling that she said that one of her biggest fears in life, I think she might have thought this, just pondering here, was appearing on Turtleboy. So I wanted to see if you felt the same way. Did you feel the same way? So have you sobered up? Were you drunk when you talked to me 2 weeks ago? You got to take it easy, pussycat. You were a little out of control there. Calm down a little bit. It's not a big deal. I understand if I had a loved one that was facing prison time for doing something heinous, I'd be a little defensive too. I get it. But, if that was my son who did something heinous like that, I couldn't live with myself if I knowingly sent an innocent person to prison to protect him. And it would just be teaching him the wrong lesson. I would say, son, I love you, but you got to do this. You did a horrible thing. And now you got to do this. You got to take it. You got to deal with it. So, and I'm wondering why you guys just don't do the same. How can you do that? But, just other than that, I just want to see how you're doing. I don't know if you were drunk last time I spoke with you, but I haven't heard back from you since then. So I want to make sure that you're okay. So give me a call back when you get this. Love to have you back on the show sometime, and tell your boyfriend that it wasn't nice to call me a fucking homo. Even if I'm, for the record, I'm not gay, but if I was, that would be okay. Okay. You got to get with the times. I know Pride Month ended a couple months ago. It doesn't mean it's okay for him to say those mean things. And it's probably not good for his business, 𝗵𝗏𝗧 Carpeting, to go around calling people fucking homos in 2023. So just saying. All right. Bye, pussycat. Okay. So she didn't answer. We'll see if she calls back. All right. Anyway, so again, if anyone else wants to donate, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. Donate whatever you want. And that's that. Okay. Let's get back to this video. We're only like 2 minutes into the video. We're an hour and 15 minutes in the show. 2 minutes into the video.
To have them accused of murder is outrageous. To have them harassed and intimidated based on false narratives and accusations is wrong.
Oh, and by the way, before I forget, because these disappear on Rumble, I just got to read. JCN sends $100 on Rumble and says, thanks for all you do. Thank you, JCN. I appreciate that. $20 from LaRue, New Hampshire says, keep digging. So thank you. If you guys wouldn't mind, send it on the Turtle chat. So I have it all in one place. It just makes it easier. But I really appreciate those donos. And shout out to all the Rumble rats over there, all 1,183 of you right now, keeping it real. We have over 4,000 people watching on the two platforms combined. Let's get back to it.
They are witnesses to what our justice system asks of them.
No, they're not.
The autopsy of John O'Keefe was conducted by a forensic pathologist from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The doctor found that the injuries that left John helpless in the cold were not a result of a fight. She further found that the line of abrasions on his arm was consistent with blunt trauma.
Imagine looking at those. I'm not a medical examiner, but imagine looking at those scratches on his arm and be like, that's blunt trauma. And by the way, blunt trauma does not look like that. That's not what it looks like. It's scratches. Scratches. That's clearly what those are. And that medical examiner works for the state. Now, I'm not saying she's in on any conspiracy or anything like that, because that's reaching, right? But medical examiners routinely get things wrong. Google it. Happens all the time. Medical examiners told us in the case of, go back and read our story about, why am I drawing a blank here? Why am I drawing a blank? The girl from Lowell. Give me the name. Why am I'm so, this is disrespectful. I'm really sorry. The girl from Lowell. I'm like so invested in this case. What's her name killed? What's his name killed? The fuck is that asshole's name? Oh, somebody give me the name. You guys know who I'm talking about. Not Michaela Miller. I do want to talk about the Michaela Miller thing though, because I thought about this too. Emily 𝗵𝗂𝗧. I gotta write Michaela Miller down because we got to address that too. Emily 𝗵𝗂𝗧. EMELYNIEVS. That case needs to be revisited too. Emily 𝗵𝗂𝗧 was murdered by Devontae Degree in 2021. Her abusive boyfriend who beat the shit out of her routinely, and she was trying to get out of that relationship. The medical examiner said that she died by falling out of bed. That's what the medical examiner said. Not by being punched in the face or anything like that by Devontae Degree, but falling out of bed. A medical examiner said that. Medical examiners routinely get it wrong. Because, especially in this case, when police go to them and say, okay, this kid got hit by a car. Can you tell us what he died from? And now she has to figure out a way to make that fit. She got to work backwards. This happens all the time. So and by the way, the medical examiner has to take the stand in the trial. Can you imagine what Alan Jackson's going to do to her? Can you imagine how she's going to explain that? That should be interesting.
Not an animal attack. A grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence and testimony before making a decision. The subject of that murder indictment enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence.
She enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. You're not treating her like she's innocent. And the grand jury only hears from the prosecution. They don't hear. And who testified in front of the grand jury? A bunch of people who had every reason to make it look like Karen Reed did this. Lank was involved in that. He testified in front of the grand jury. Brian Albert did. Nicole Albert did. Brian Higgins did. They all testified in front of the grand jury. This is the grand jury to indict Karen Reed for murder. They all did. But yeah, it doesn't take much to get an indictment. It really doesn't. The bar's not that high, especially when evidence is not presented by the defense.
Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community? They should not be harassed for telling the government what they heard or saw.
Okay. enough with this bullshit narrative. Why should they not be presided the same presumption of innocence? You're really going there? Why isn't Jen? They should not be harassed. First of all, we're not harassing anyone. I challenge anyone to watch. Like, I have a link here from, let me show you this real quick. Like, Canton TV, I did not know this, did a documentation of the entire day. They have a whole video
Assemblage
here.
returned to their cars, trucks, and motorcycles and drove to Canton to the home of Michael Proctor, the state trooper investigating the Karen Reed
Does this
case
look like
in the
her-
Norfolk District Attorney's Office. He is often referred to as conflicted Trooper Proctor by Turtleboy, who has said that Proctor should have recused himself from the case, and outside his home, Turtleboy criticized his handling of it.
The man who lives in this house knows that Karen Reed did not kill John O'Keefe.
This rally would be notable in itself. Nothing like this has occurred previously in Canton as far as could be determined, but
True.
beyond its significance as a one-time event, it shows a division which has developed in town as it is developed in this case.
First of all, Canton TV is so good. It is the best. They have the best. I don't even know if you call mainstream. They do a million times better reporting on the story than any of the corporate-owned media outlets. This is great. This is good stuff. That guy comes to everything. He interviews me. You know, he's unbiased. He just wants to report what's happening. He does a fantastic job. And yes, your comment has been there for a long time, Dave, because I didn't want to forget it. So if you guys don't remember the Michaela Miller story, and the reason I'm bringing this up, 2 years ago, a 16-year-old girl in Hopkinton, a black girl by the name of Michaela Miller, was found dead on a wooded path in Hopkinton. She had apparently killed herself by tying her belt to one end of a tree and the other around her neck. And she had been suicidal for quite some time because she was going through a bad breakup. And she had obviously some mental health issues. She grew up in an abusive home where she was often in DCF care because her mother was a deadbeat. And this poor girl was going through a horrible breakup, didn't want it to end. She was a lesbian. Her girlfriend broke up with her. So she killed herself. The girlfriend told her guidance counselor, we got the emails, told her guidance counselor, the girlfriend was 16, by the way, told her guidance counselor, Michaela tried to kill herself on FaceTime with the belt, the very belt she ended up killing herself with. They told guidance counselor this at Hopkins High School. They did nothing with it. And after she was found dead in this horrible tragedy, instead of saying, wow, this is really horrible, we should talk about mental health, a woman by the name of Monica Cannon Grant, who is now under federal indictment for 27 counts of fraud and is a pathological liar and race baiter, decided to make up a lie in conjunction with Rachel Rollins, Ayanna Pressley, and many other people. And Ben freaking Crump, the biggest race baiting attorney liar in the country. They descended on the town of Hopkinton and they held a massive protest. Thousands of people went to it. And they pushed this lie that 5 white teenagers, including Michaela Miller's ex-girlfriend, lynched her. All of them were in other places. And unlike Colin Albert, they could prove it. There was video from the Wendy's and Sturbridge of 2 of them at that exact time. Cell phone data on all 3 proving that they were in other places. They were never considered suspects because she killed herself. And it was just this lie. And at no point to this day did Marion Ryan, the district attorney in Middlesex County, ever come out and say, leave those kids alone. Those 5 kids had their lives turned upside down. They were doxxed. They were lied about. The girl couldn't attend her funeral or her wake for her friend Michaela Miller because this lying mob of race baiting criminals came to town and said this about them. And at no point did the DA ever step in and say, leave those kids alone. They didn't do anything wrong. But yet, here in Norfolk County, just to show you, but all the Alberts don't have any power. No. Just they have the most powerful person in the county going on in a video and telling all of the people out there, leave them alone. Leave this 50-year-old woman, 𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗃 alone, however old she is. Leave her alone. Leave Matt McCabe alone. They, who actually there is documented evidence making them the most likely suspects in the murder of a police officer, they are to be left alone. But 5 16-year-olds from Hopkinton, do whatever the fuck you want to them. They don't, whatever. Call murders, make shit up, doesn't matter. Who cares? No one's going to go to bat for them. That shows you that Brian Albert gets more protection from the district attorney than some innocent 16-year-old girl who lost her good friend. That shows you how powerful these people are. Oh, it's evil. Yeah. Oh,
on one side, there are people who follow and support the prosecution's argument. On the other are those who support Karen Reed, and that support is based on a view of the case which questions.
Yeah, this is great. Go ahead and check that out on the Canton TV channel. I'll bring up the back to the Morrissey thing.
I'm asking the Canton community and everyone who feels invested in this case to hear all the actual evidence at trial before assigning guilt to people who have done nothing wrong. And certainly before taking it upon yourself to harass citizens who evidence shows.
By the way, wait till trial. They always say wait till trial. Okay. What other evidence you showing? Like the Google search is going to be shown at trial. We already know what your response is to that, and it's bullshit. So what else you got? Why should I wait till trial when I already know what you're going to say? And I'm just not going to protest until then. No, sorry. You would like that if we just waited for trial, but no, we're not. And you know who else isn't waiting for trial? The FBI. You dumb motherfucker. Why do you think the FBI hasn't arrested Colin Albert yet? It's not because they don't think he's not guilty. It's because they have bigger fish to fry. You dumbass. They're looking at your fat ass. And you're so cocky because you've been untouchable up until this point. And you're friends with Bill Keating and Stevie Lynch, congressman, aren't you? And you think they're going to protect your ass. Well, they're not. And there's nothing you can do about it. And the feds are looking at you. You and Michael Proctor are the two biggest villains in this entire story. More than Brian Albert, more than Colin Albert, more than 𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗃. You two pieces of shit are the most two corrupt people. I don't care if any of those other fucking people go to prison as long as this motherfucker does. This corrupt, because you run the institutions that we are supposed to trust and you abuse the public trust. Shame on you.
Have done nothing in this matter but come forward and bear witness. We try people in the court and not on the internet for a reason.
Internet.
The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury.
By the way, he's going to shit on, first of all, Mr. Boomer, the internet. What does that even? The internet has no rules for perjury? Okay. Excuse me, sir. What medium are you talking to us on right now? Oh, yeah, the internet machine. So the internet, you're telling us not to trust the internet on the internet. Are you serious right now? You're telling us not to trust the internet while communicating this message to us on the internet. And he didn't hold a press conference. He did it in his office by himself because he doesn't want to answer any questions about it. He's like, they have no, what is the internet? What's wrong with the internet, sir?
We try people in the court and not on the internet for a reason. The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury.
There's no rules of evidence. Well, sir, you're doing this on the internet instead of holding a press conference. Why are you not holding a press conference? You're the goddamn district attorney. And the answer to that is you don't want to take any questions from the press. You want to do a quick little hit and run because you're a coward. Because no one ever runs against you. No one ever runs against you. Well, Mr. Morrissey, you're going to be confronted. We're going to see each other face to face, sir. And you're going to be confronted by me a lot. You better get used to this face. I know you think, oh, he's nobody's. Oh, you have no fucking clue, son. You don't even know what you have no idea what you got yourself into. You didn't have to do this. You're going to get the Jennifer McCabe treatment moving forward, sir. I hope you like it. I hope you like it, because this whole video is about me and all of you, really. Our movement. So you want us to shut up? Nope. We're going to talk a lot louder now. Actually, we're going to do the opposite.
And the internet does not know all the facts.
Oh, the internet doesn't know the facts, whatever that means.
Conspiracy theories are not evidence. The idea that multiple police department, EMTs, fire personnel, the medical examiner, and prosecuting agencies are joined in or taken in by a vast conspiracy should be seen for what it is, completely contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt.
Like a desperate attempt, contrary to the evidence. No, the evidence shows actually that, I mean, not everyone is involved, obviously. But like, it really, like, it's mostly Michael Proctor, to be perfectly honest with you, because he's the one writing the reports. Did Katie McLaughlin actually tell him that? Did she actually tell him that Karen Reed said, I hit him? She hasn't testified, and she's completely disappeared off the face of the earth. She's gone. Is she going to say the same thing when she's on the stand? Is she? Because we know that Michael Proctor likes to make shit up in reports, doesn't he? He likes to make shit up in reports. Oh my gosh, we got to get Angela Chan O'Donnell to run for select board. Oh, I would love that. Oh, I would love that so much. So anyway, back to this.
Michael Proctor.
Here we go.
Trooper being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident.
Oh my God, he actually said that. Michael Proctor was never at Fairview Road on the day of the internet. I know this guy really thinks like the internet. Do you get that on an AOL CD that comes in the mailbox? This is like how this guy is. Like, he said Michael Proctor was never on the scene. Really? I mean, that is the most remarkable thing he said. Michael Proctor, because all this other shit, it's all untrue. But it's like, it's not as easy to just be like, you know, it's more complicated to prove it's untrue. However, the other thing, dude, like this is not the defense's whatever. You can't be like, the defense is spinning this. This document right here, these are the charging documents. The Commonwealth wrote these charging documents. You know whose signature is at the bottom of this document? Michael Morrissey's is. He signed this. He signed this document, which says, while on scene. And what did he say up here? Again, what was the exact quote?
Proctor and his police trooper being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident.
He was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident, except this is the charging document. It says, while on scene, Trooper Proctor secured O'Keefe's cell phone. So not only was he on scene, he was there that early enough that he got the cell phone. And what does this document say? There's dozens of documents like this that put him there. Michael Proctor and Sergeant 𝗵𝗵𝗪𝗏𝗍𝗂𝗍 were among the troopers who responded to the scene. They responded to the scene. Okay. I mean, it's just like like that. When I first watched this, I'm like, yes, Melanie, I love it. We will not stop. We will not stop. We don't stop. We really don't. Imagine how powerful you have to think that you are in order to put out a video like this, knowing that the public can just read those documents and say, see that you're plainly lying. and just not caring. You just don't care because you're that confident that you're untouchable. All this video is just confirm what we've been saying about these people, that they think they're untouchable, that they think that they can get away with murder, that they can gaslight us and lie to us and treat us like we're stupid, and we're not going to do anything about it. We need to stop. We need to stop. Oh, God. Mr. McWhiskey. Oh, no. Mr. Morrissey, you have no idea. You have no idea what's about to happen to you, son. You have no idea. Your life is about to get very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Let's play some more.
Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road.
So other troopers, is he like suggesting that other troopers planted it? He was not there. We know he wasn't there all day. We know he traveled to Karen Reed's parents' home, William Reed, happy birthday, in Dighton, and that he got there, that he called the Dighton police at 2:30 looking for a tow. We know that that thing was towed out of there completely by 417. We know that the police report that he wrote says he got there at 4:30. And we know that the police report that he wrote says he left at 5:30. When in actuality, the entire scene was cleared by 4:17, which gave him 1 hour and 13 minutes unaccounted for with that vehicle. And we know that he brought that vehicle to Canton, not to the state police barracks in Middleborough, which would have been the appropriate place to bring in evidence. Now the state police took over the case, but no, they brought it to the Canton police, who had no jurisdiction over the matter whatsoever, but happened to be significantly closer to 34 Fairview Road. And they did that within about an hour before the state police CERT team did their second search, in which they found taillight evidence that the Canton police did not find. How are they ever going to explain that at trial? How the Canton police didn't find that? How are they ever going to explain that? I cannot believe we're doing this.
In addition to having no opportunity to plant the evidence, as has been suggested.
Oh, okay. No opportunity.
Proctor would have no motive to do so.
You would have no motive to do so. None. Really? Well, how can you say he had no motive?
Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation and had no conflict.
This is what gaslighting looks like. He had no close personal relationships with anyone in that house and had no conflict, except, oh yeah, here's Chris Albert sharing a family memory. And there's Pussycat saying 2 years later, and the comment is still true. And there's Karen Barcemian Proctor, the mother of Michael Proctor, saying the Proctor's second family, not my second family, because, you know, I'm sure these idiots will say, oh, well, maybe Michael Proctor's family, maybe Michael Proctor's mother and sister considered them second family, but somehow Michael Proctor never interacted with these people. Somehow. Except it doesn't say my second family. It says the Proctor's second family, the Proctors. And Michael Proctor is a member of the Proctors. He is the brother of Courtney Proctor. He is the son of Karen Proctor. Give me a break. He didn't. I mean, seriously, they're just lying to us. Criminals. That's what these people are.
And he had no reason to step out of this investigation.
No reason.
Every suggestion to the contrary is a lie.
Oh, it's a lie. It's just because I said it.
Seen for what it is and not used as a pretext to attack and harass others.
Attack.
What is happening to the witnesses, some with no actual involvement in the case, is wrong.
It's wrong. It's a lie.
It's contrary to the American values of fairness.
Motherfucker wants to talk about American I got to write that one down. American values of fairness. Okay. American, I got to stop right there. This motherfucker wants to talk about American values of fairness. Well, let me tell you a thing or two about American values of fairness and American values in general. This country, you dumb shit, was founded by revolutionaries, by people who saw tyrants like yourself pushing tyranny on them, stealing their money, making them drink their stupid tea, and making British soldiers sleep in their homes, and killing them, and taking their property, and burning things down, and treating them as subjects and not citizens. And eventually people looked at people like you, Michael Proctor, and were like, you know what that guy could use right now? A good tarring and feathering. That's what we used to do to people like you. We tarred and feathered them. And we executed them for being tyrants. That's how it worked. That's American values, sir. That's what American values are. American values, we value the right to protest and the right to organize and the right to free speech. And you're up here telling us to stop doing those things. No, sir. Let me tell you, you are about to get American values up your fat ass so hard. Oh my God, I'm going to stick all my American values up there. Dude, make room. Make room for those American values. Let's talk about the American values of fairness. The right to a presumption of innocence, right? And the right to a fair and speedy trial. Those are pretty good American values. Has Karen Reed got those American values? Has John O'Keefe got what about the American values to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? His life was stolen from him. His liberty was stolen from him. His pursuit of happiness was stolen from him. Karen Reed lost all three of those things as well. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness because of you. Because of what these animals did to John O'Keefe and what they subsequently did to her and what your office is now complicit in. She has not received the presumption of innocence. She has not been treated or received any sort of fairness in her trial or in her case thus far. Your office, sir, has lost critical evidence that could prove her innocence, like the 2 minutes of library footage from the Canton Library that would show that she did not have a cracked taillight. Your office lost tissues from John's arm, showing that he was bit by a dog and scratched by a dog. Your office has not tested his clothes for DNA. You've been compelled to, but refused to do so. Your office filed a motion to prevent the defense from getting animal control records from Canton. Why? What purpose does that serve? Why would you ever want to prevent them from getting animal control records? How does that concern you at all? You have nothing to hide. That's not fair. You are not giving Karen Reed a fair trial by doing any of those things, sir. Give me a break. Fairness. American values of fairness. Oh.
And the constitutional value of a fair trial.
Fair trial, right.
It needs to stop now.
Fuck you. Fuck you. It will not stop now. It will escalate now. It will escalate now like you've never seen before. We will do the exact opposite of stop. We will, you thought July 25th court hearing was colorful and bad. Wait till September 15th. It's less than 3 weeks away. We will be protesting on those stairs starting at 7:30 a.m. for the 9 o'clock hearing. And we will be louder and bigger than you ever imagined. We'll have our coffees. We'll be well rested. We're going to be ready to go on September 15th. I hope you're ready. We will not stop. We will not stop. We're hitting the gas pedal. We're just getting started, sir.
I'm releasing this quoted statement rather than holding a news conference because my remarks need to be so narrowly tailored to the issue at hand while the prosecution is pending in Superior Court.
No, you're holding this here instead of in a press conference because you're a pussy and you're a coward and you're afraid of the media. You're afraid of anyone questioning you because that's how you roll. You run unopposed every 2 or 4 years, whatever it is, and no one ever challenges you. That's why you're doing it, because you're a coward. And you know that you couldn't stand up to the slightest bit of questioning, sir. None.
But the message is the same. What is happening to these innocent people, these witnesses, is wrong and it needs to stop.
Fuck you. We will never stop. We will never stop. We will never, ever, ever stop. Ever. Until Karen Read is a free woman and the animals who did this to John O'Keefe are in prison where they belong. And I don't even know who we're fighting for with justice for John O'Keefe at this point, because his family doesn't give a shit. Obviously, they're the first persons that you usually fight for justice for. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Luckiest thing they ever did. And with Sandra Birchmore too. You killed 2 people whose families don't give a fuck, who are just lazy. You killed people with lazy family members who have no intention of actually seeking justice. You lucked out. You know how hard that is to find someone, I don't care who you are, out there. You kill someone, their family's going to want justice and get it. John's family doesn't give a shit about justice. They don't. You don't tell me they want justice. If Paul O'Keefe, I've been talking to some people, my dude, and Paul O'Keefe, and because all your friends talk to me, Paul, and I know you're watching this show. And I know as a fact, Paul, that you have been talking to your friends and questioning particularly the bite marks and the claw marks. That's got him fucked up. Paul started doing some thinking. He told me that I've made him think about it. He's been doing some thinking. And I think he's starting to realize this is a fucking sham. Now, if I were Karen Read, I'd never forgive you. Whatever. You should be embarrassed and humiliated and ashamed. But it ain't too late. It ain't too late. If this were me and I was killed, I don't care if it was my worst enemy that was wrongly accused of it. My family, when presented with evidence that someone else did it, would not just be sitting on their ass and be like, oh, well, whatever. I still support this sham. No, because my family cares about me. My family cares about me. If something happened on one of my family members and that happened, and I had all this evidence presented, I'd be like, even if it's the person I want to believe did it, somebody who I really fucking hated, like, name some asshole out there who really don't like Monica Canning Grant. Suppose, one of my family members gets murdered and Monica Canning Grant is blamed for it. And I hate Monica Canning Grant, right? With a passion. And she gets blamed for it. And I fucking hate this woman. I already hated you before, and now I hate you even more, right? But then evidence comes forward that it's like, oh no, there's actually really good evidence that it was this other person who I don't hate, who I kind of know, and has been wearing justice for my brother or sister pins, whatever. But all this evidence comes forward. All of a sudden, it's like making it look like, oh yeah, you know what I would do? No longer support the prosecution of Monica Canning Grant. Because even though I fucking hate her, what's the point? What is the point of sending Monica Canning Grant to jail for a crime that I'm well aware that she did not commit? I'd like to see Monica Canning Grant rot in prison for the rest of her life, but not for killing my brother or sister or daughter or whoever. Not if she didn't do it. I'd want the person that actually did it. And that's why these people are sick. Like, you're happy with, like, you're content with this. You're that sick that you're like, I hate Karen Read so much that I'm willing to let my son's killers go free. That's how much I hate Karen Read, because I'm willing to let the people, and that's how little I care about John O'Keefe, my son. Oh, I'm such a victim. Oh no, feel bad for me. My son died. Oh no, feel so bad for me. But meanwhile, I'm supporting this sham prosecution to make sure my son never gets justice. Okay. Yeah, you're a real victim. Right. Sure you are. Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. Let me bang through some donos here real quick. Do we have more? we have to add this all up. Holy shit, the turtle chats are on fire tonight. All right, we're going to bang through these. Ready? Here we go. We're going to add this all up. It's going to be a big number. Alyssa from Twisted Tragedy sends $10 and says, Morrissey insults our collective intelligence as if we are fucking idiots and can't look at the evidence. This makes me want to use my First Amendment even more. Searching for justice looks good on you, Turtleboy. Keep it up. Thank you, Alyssa. And I feel the exact same way. Like, dude, all you've done is kick the hornet's nest here. Beth sends $25 and says, thank you, Turtleboy, for all that you do. Karen, justice will prevail and you will be free. Free Karen Reed. Thank you very much, Beth. Mario sends $5 and says, how does Morrissey not have a clue that the FBI is investigating? Do you think he just doesn't care or is ignorant? I think he's just ignorant. I think he's just a moron. Absolutely fucking stupid. Like, we elect stupid people, and he is the perfect example of a stupid person, a very, very stupid person. So thank you for that, Mario. Pam sends $25, says, flying in from Michigan to celebrate when Karen is free. Thank you for fighting for justice. You're amazing. Thank you very much, Pam. I appreciate that. From Michigan. Juan sends $30 and says, fucking coward, Morrissey releases the statement on a Friday afternoon. Only scumbag politicians do that. You're right about that, Juan. Thank you for the dono. Next up, we have Jay from New Hampshire sends $10 and says, awesome work, Turtleboy. Keep calling out the travesty. Justice for Karen and John. Thank you, sir. Bob sends $50, says, Turtleboy, I still don't know why that house hasn't been searched and that new floor ripped out. You can't get rid of that blood or find tons of bleach. Do your job, Michael Luminol Morrissey. How about the carpet guy? He needs deposition. Absolutely. Free Karen Reed. God bless you guys. Erica sends $25 and says, Erica and Donnie supporting Charlestown since the beginning. Oh, we met Erica at the rally. Great lady. Proud is an understatement. DA Dumpy knows his skeletons are about to come spilling out of the dark, dirty closet. Thank you for fighting the good fight. We got your back, you loser. Thank you. Kristen sends $25 and says, longtime turtle rider. Told my mom about this case today, and now she's a turtle rider. Keep up the great work, Doc. Welcome aboard, Mom. We love you. Jean sends $10 and says, Maine watching. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Thank you very much, Jean. Mike sends 25 big ones and says, we are living in a bizarro world. Free Karen Reed. Thank you. Drew sends $25 and says, Unc, will you please tell this loser from Twitter, Jimmy 2x, who is definitely watching this show, that he should move to Canton and propose to Krusty Panties. She can make Jen Duso her bridesmaid. Keep up the great work. You make the woo proud. RDS 2024. Thank you very much, sir. And you know what, that you bring up the Jen Duso thing. Let's talk about this just for a moment. So if you guys don't know who she is, she was a former Massachusetts state trooper who I wrote a blog about in 2018 after discovering that she was previously in her life, about 10 years prior, a witness for the federal government who flipped on her boyfriend. They sold pot together, and she laundered $350,000 of that money and hid it from the government. And in order to avoid jail time herself, she had to snitch on her boyfriend. Somehow, 10 years later, she became a state trooper, despite the fact that the state police themselves had investigated her. She ended up losing her job because of yours truly. Okay. And, you know, there was about 2 years there where she obviously hated me. And then because I ruined her life. She was like the canine cop too. Talk about getting chewed up. Dog bites. How badly does she want to talk about this case? Like the expert on dog bites, the human chew toy. So she lost her job because of me. And then 2 years later, she messages me and she's like, oh, I just want to move on with my life. And she wanted to come on the show. We did an interview and she flirted and did this whole thing. And long story short, now I am an amateur porn star against my will. Okay. And she's living in a trailer somewhere in North Carolina. Okay. But in the meantime, as a state trooper, she arrested a lot of people and was involved in a lot of investigations. And these had to be thrown out. Let me show you this video. Check this out.
Throw out criminal cases because of the involvement of a state trooper who's now suspended and under investigation herself. 5 Investigates Karen Anderson in the newsroom looking into this for us. Karen.
And then this is one of the cases that's been tossed out, all because of a suspended state trooper under investigation after it was discovered she was allegedly involved in a drug operation before she was hired by state police. And for prosecutors, that brings up credibility issues.
Oh, credibility issues.
Benito Ruiz Rivera of Roslindale, charged by Massachusetts State Police with possession to distribute white powder believed to be cocaine, driving an unregistered, uninsured motor vehicle, and possession of alcohol and marijuana in the car. Now, all of these charges dismissed, according to the DA.
Why?
Because this trooper, Leah Genduzo,
now
suspended, was involved in the state police investigation.
Oh, no.
State police say they're investigating statements and representations made during Genduzo's hiring process after a report she was allegedly involved in a large-scale drug operation before becoming a police dispatcher and later a trooper.
Oh, no.
In Ruiz Rivera's case, Genduzo and her canine Kojak were called in to conduct an
the canine, by the way. Oh my God. This is a bartender we're talking about. This woman had no experience with dogs and somehow became the canine person, which you have to wait 5 years on the job to get. And she got it within 3 years because, she was banging the lieutenant colonel who got dumped. She dumped him the day that she got canine, which is all she really wanted. And now these cases have to get thrown out because, like, how are you going to arrest a drug dealer if you were one yourself and you never told the state police and somehow they didn't do a background search on you? That's how corrupt the Massachusetts State Police are, is they didn't even do a background search on this individual. They investigated her themselves and they didn't do a background search on her. Right. They knew who she was. They hired her anyway. Let's also not forget the 𝗟𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗺 case, which happened like 3 months prior to this one in 2017. This is the biggest story it ever published. These two stories. If you're new here, 𝗟𝗵𝗶𝗀 was the daughter of a judge named Tim Bebo, who's the district judge in Dudley District Court. She was pulled over and arrested. Actually, she crashed on I-90 in Holden, the town that I live in. And the state trooper, and we have a barracks in Holden, so it's under their jurisdiction. So the Holden state trooper, Ryan 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗏, who pulled her over or was there, arrested her, she's all high on heroin and tells him, "Can I suck your dick? I'll suck your dick if you let me go." And she said, "Do you know how many dicks I had to suck to get that heroin?" And he puts this in his report. And it's a little embarrassing for the judge. So the district attorney, Joe Early, and we're going to get to the relationship later between Early and Michael Morrissey. Joe Early, whose father's a congressman, the post office named after him in Worcester, another one of these lucky sperm assholes. The district attorney is good friends with the judge. So the district attorney tells the colonel of the Massachusetts State Police, Richard McCune, "You got to do something. You got to get that out of the report. It's embarrassing for the judge. You got to do something." So the colonel makes a call to the lieutenant colonel, who passes Francis Hughes, who passes that message on to Major Susan Anderson, who oversees Holden Barracks. And they all say that needs to come out. Ryan 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗏 refuses because he's one of the few troopers, not the few, there's probably most of them like this, but it's just like, nope, not going to do that. I'm by the book. And what happens to Ryan 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗏? He gets disciplined for this because he refuses to participate in a lie. And he ends up, he didn't call me, but other troopers called me. And they showed me both reports, the first report with the fun stuff and the other report without the fun stuff. And I blow the whistle on this, and it's called Troopergate today. It led to the direct resignation of the colonel, the lieutenant colonel, and the major, and the other lieutenant colonel who Genduzo was banging, Danny Ristine. They all had to resign in disgrace. He's a Teamster now. He did okay. And they all get their golden parachutes or whatever. And that was the end of that. Joe Early ended up getting a $5,000 fine from the Ethics Commission because they determined that he helped orchestrate this cover-up. And so this happens all the time, this type of shit with the state police. All the time. But back to the Genduso thing. Just listen to this.
Narcotics sniff of his car. This isn't the only fallout from the investigation of Genduso. In addition to Suffolk County, district attorneys in Middlesex and Norfolk County,
Norfolk.
5 investigates. They've also had to throw out cases involving Genduso.
Oh, so Michael Morrissey's office had to throw out cases that involved Leah Genduso. Why? Oh, right. Because her testimony wouldn't hold up at trial. She couldn't be trusted. And what did she do? She sold pot in 2005. And so she can't be trusted. This is why they cannot. This is why they're protecting Michael Proctor so hard. Like, Leah Genduso sold pot and laundered some, pot money 12 years ago. Who cares? This guy, Michael Proctor, framed an innocent person for murder, planted evidence in a murder case of a police officer, covered for a cop killers. He's involved in the Brian Walsh case. If they're willing to drop cases, any case that Leah Genduso's involved in, think of what they would have to drop what Michael Proctor's involved in. Just think of that. It's the same district attorney's office. He dropped every single case that Leah Genduso was a part of. Think about that.
We asked Governor Baker about cases being dismissed.
Well, I'm not familiar with the specifics with respect to what you've raised, but she's suspended without pay, as she should be, for misrepresenting,
as she should be,
falsifying information when she applied to the department.
There could be more cases to come. Genduso's attorney declined to comment on the investigation. Karen Anderson, 5 investigators.
Well, she's doing well for herself. She's on some YouTube panels now, and she's got a Twitter account. It's called at Leah Genduso OF, LEIGHAGENDUSOOF. She's, it appears that there's like some interesting things being shared on there. So I'm glad she's doing well for herself. She landed on her feet, well, on her knees, but she landed. So that's good. So that's good to see. Okay. So anyway, she's on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it. I mean, you could check it out on Twitter. I just saw it the other day. It's again at LEIGHAGENDUSOOF. I believe that's what it's called. So check it out. I don't know if I think it said parody on the account, but it definitely looks like her in the videos. So I don't know. Don't go there with your kids. Your kids should not be awake when you look at that Twitter account. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, yeah, don't do it around your kids. Don't do it around your kids. That's all I got to say. Anyway, so that's interesting. Anyway, so back to this. Back to these donos. So thank you very much, Drew. Next dono is from Wally, sends $50 and says, your work on this is impeccable, my guy. Keep up the good work, kind sir. Thank you, Wally. I appreciate that. Marissa sends $20 and says, keep doing what you're doing. You are awesome. Thank you very much, Marissa. Jennifer sends $25 and says, Karen, charge on you, warrior. Keep fighting. Thank you, Jennifer. Next up, we got Ann sends $50 and says, thank you, doctor. I'm disgusted with Wendy's comments about Karen going to jail. Oh my God. Did you guys see what I hate even giving this troll. I'm going to write a blog about this and we need to get this bitch disbarred or some shit. What she posted was so heinous. We need to discuss this real quick. Okay. Let me bring this up. This is what Wendy Murphy posted. Again, this is an attorney writing this. This is what she posted about Karen Reed today, or yesterday rather. It's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen any person do. And it says, because of her lawyers, this is what she said, life behind bars is a long time. At least she can become a jailhouse lawyer and learn how to sue her lawyers. Bye-bye, Karen Reed. I mean, imagine imagine laughing about that. Like, that's funny to you. You think that's funny, you pig? And Wendy says, because of her lawyers, Karen Reed will enjoy many years behind bars with prisoners who will enjoy using her for all sorts of perversions. A real riot. This is what she wrote. This is what she wrote. That it's funny to her. A real riot about Karen Reed being raped in prison. Like, that's funny to her. It's a real riot. We need to contact the BBO about this filthy cunt, Wendy Murphy, posting shit like that on social media. I mean, how heinous can you be? What a disgusting person. And shame. I'm sorry. I like you guys, Joel, over at Surviving the Survivor. If you support that, if you're I never want to go on your program again. I'd like to go on there and talk about it, because you saw what I did for the ratings when I went on. Your views tripled. But if you platform this pig, this animal, Wendy Murphy, I'm all set. I'm all set. It is unacceptable to platform a pig like her. So screw her, Wendy Murphy. So thank you for the dono. And I appreciate that. Next up, next dono is from Rachel, sends $10 and says, congrats for reaching 42,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you very much, Rachel. I appreciate that. It hasn't been easy, but we got here. Erica sends $100 and says, on behalf of 𝗵𝗶𝗃𝗍 Real Estate, still waiting for that phone call. And that's another blog I've thought about rating, but I'm looking into it. So there's a woman by the name of Renee Roberts. She is the sister-in-law of Kerry Roberts. And some people believe that she runs a fake account called Kevin Reus. Now, the evidence of that is that Kevin, whoever this Kevin account is, has shared, I apologize, that Renee Roberts on TikTok shared videos from Kevin Reus, and Kevin Reus shares some heinous things about Karen Reed. No, so we have no evidence. I have no direct evidence proving that Renee Roberts is behind that account, but she's a realtor who works for 𝗵𝗶𝗃𝗍, and she shouldn't be sharing shit like that anyway. And she did share it, which is like, okay, now you're in the arena. Now you've posted this on social media, and now you're fair game. And as it turns out, 𝗵𝗶𝗃𝗍 is the company that sold Fairview Road. And one of the realtors who is on Canton Confidential defending this woman is named Eric Hanlon. And I think he was drunk yesterday because he kept posting. And he is the one who sold this house. And he told anyone who went in that house to look at it, they cannot take pictures of it. Why would he do that? That is not common practice. Why would he do that? You're in on it, dude. You're in, Eric Hanlon. So fair game. So let's go. And poor Erica Madden is the owner of the Star Drive-Thru Theater, the Drive-In Theater, the Star Drive-In Theater in Taunton, which I highly recommend going to. And she has gotten some negative reviews from this Kevin Reus account, which people believe is Renee Roberts. And Renee Roberts said that she was going to reach out and talk to Erica about this, and never did, and never called her back. And she's like, can you stop defaming me? Let's talk about it. So the offer's there for Renee Roberts. You want to play the silent game? You get the Jen McCabe treatment. If you got nothing to hide, come talk. Come talk. So prove you didn't do it. You say it's not you, so let's talk about it. So thank you, Erica. You want to fuck with other people's businesses? They might fuck with yours too. Leah sends $25, says, flood DA Morrissey's email inbox. Anyone find his work email? Better yet, contact the ODC. This is a corrupt behavior from an attorney. Yeah, we need, sending him emails are going to do shit, but contacting the BBO might for what he posted. I mean, he lied. He lied about Michael Proctor not being there. It's a lie. It's a fucking lie. He's poisoning a jury pool by doing this. Insane. Rose sends $10 and says, Morrissey is a useless government stooge. Surprised he didn't force unorganized Lally to make a statement. Justice for Karen. Absolutely he is. Got a few more here to read here. Colleen sends $15 and says, justice will prevail in large part to our fearless leader, Dr. Turtleboy. Thank you. Kevin sends 25. It says, doctor, have you heard the news? Shut the fuck up. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Lisa sends 50 big ones and says, I miss real investigative reporting. I'm glad you're there to bring justice to Karen and John. Keep on shedding the light, Dr. Turtleboy. Thank you, Karen. A-Rod sends $25 and says, us New Yorkers say, see you next Tuesday when we want to be classy. When we ride up, we say cunt bag, bang, bang. Thank you very much. A-Rod, appreciate that. Michael sends 25 and says, 25 from Quincy. In the 90s, Morrissey served in the Mass State Senate. So that explains it, with his BFF Bill Keating and Steve Lynch, who are both now in Congress. Were they involved in Rachel Rollins firing weeks after federal subpoenas went out? So I heard this theory today about like them, like Rachel Rollins lost her job. So this is a theory that I heard today that I don't believe in, that Rachel Rollins was resigned. She didn't get fired. She chose to resign in May. And she was the head of the U.S. Attorney's Office that was investigating them, right? And some have suggested that Morrissey made this announcement because he thinks the FBI investigation's over, that he got tipped off to it. Because now that Rollins is gone, Rollins didn't like him. Now that Rollins is gone, he's in the clear. But, like, and that Lynch and Keating helped get him fired. But that doesn't make sense for a couple of reasons. Number one, Rachel Rollins wasn't fired. She resigned. She chose to resign. She had to resign because there was undeniable evidence that she acted unethically. She did that to herself. Secondly, she's not ethical herself. The new U.S. Attorney, Josh Levy, has shown in that same investigation that he's very by the book. So we have a much more competent person in charge of that now. So I'm not really buying that narrative, although it is an interesting theory to bring up. So thank you very, very much, Michael. Random effing citizen sends $100 and says, can we get police cam or dash cam footage from who was on the scene? I don't think police there is dash cam footage. We haven't seen it yet. It'll come out of trial. And I bet you it's damning for Jen McCabe. Let's just put it that way. I don't think Canton police, I don't know if they wear body cams, but state police, Michael Proctor does not, because he's not a uniformed officer. So thank you, Random Method. James sends $10 and says, keep doing what you do, doctor. Will do, sir. Heather sends $10 and says, if John was out in the yard all night long, why were there no signs of frostbite on him? Another great question that'll come up at trial. $20 to $5 from Brian says, journalism Jesus, only you forgive the stupidity of the village idiots. Jennifer Kofendafer, Carl Dougal, and perhaps the biggest asshole, Wendy Murphy. And by the way, guess what? Shut the fuck up. That's what. I appreciate that. I've got a couple cash apps I got to bang through here too. Give me one moment just to read these because I don't want to forget anyone. Okay, here. Wildflower sends $10 and says, hey, Jackie. Appreciate that, Wildflower. We have Marty sends $1.81 and says, I'm the CEO of Turtleboy now. Okay. Let's see. Donnie sends $20 and says, I think the dog was the aggravating factor. I definitely think the dog pulled him down and enabled him to get hit in the back of the head. Rick Shea sends $10 and says, truth. Appreciate that, Rick. Erica sends $25, says, thank you for everything you do. Free Karen Reed. Marty sends $10 and says, for free Karen Reed from down in Tampa. We're going international here. Ryan sends $5, says, Wayne LaRue sucks at fantasy football. Ooh, ouch. Wayne, that sucks for you. Paula sends $100 and says, I have to donate more. For Phoenix, Arizona, free Karen Reed. Thank you very much, Paula. So, man, you guys, I'm going to add this all up soon. It's a lot of fucking donos here. Like a lot of donos here. I got to add these all up in a couple minutes and see what the grand total comes to. What would you guys estimate we raised tonight? What would you estimate we raised tonight? Let's add it all. We'll add it all up when we're done and get a final number. If anyone else wants to donate, the link is at the top. You can donate whatever you want. Write a message. I'll read it out loud to the class, or you can cash at me $$ Uncle Turtleboy, and we will do it that way. So we'll see what this turns into at the end. Do we get another one here on Rumble from Maura Elena? Says, for shoving it up Michael Morrissey's fat ass and freeing Karen Reed. Thank you there, MM. Okay. All right. Real quick here. I didn't really get a chance to get into the other stuff tonight, but want to briefly talk about the Sandra Birchmore thing. So Sandra Birchmore, go and read the 2 blogs I wrote about her yesterday. Another woman who died under suspicious conditions in Canton. She's a 23-year-old pregnant woman who allegedly committed suicide. And I believed this story because I trusted police and I didn't think that they would cover up a murder. But now I don't. Now I'm with Kirk Minahan from The Case podcast, and I believe that this was a murder because of the way that she was found. She killed herself prison style with the strap around the neck and the doorknob. Like, you only do that if you're in prison. And she, according to all of her friends, she was planning to have this baby and she seemed happy. And she didn't care if the father of the child, our detective, Stoughton detective, Matthew Farwell, she didn't care if he wasn't involved in the baby's life. We did a whole show on this on Turtle Club the other night. Go and watch it if you're in Turtle Club. And if you're not, go join Turtle Club. But I believe Matthew Farwell killed her because Matthew Farwell fucked her when he was 15, when she was 15. So he had no problem with, being a pedophile and didn't want to have a baby with this girl. But she was also a little bit crazy from what I've figured out from her, but definitely not suicidal. And the most interesting part about this dude, the most fucked up part about this is not only the involvement of Sergeant Lank, Lieutenant Lank, the same guy who went inside 34 View Road and didn't search the house, the same guy who bailed Chris Albert out 20 years later and got sued by the 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 brothers for clocking in while he was drunk. That guy. And Kevin Albert was involved too, Detective Kevin Albert. But really the most shocking part about this is the involvement of Trooper Nicholas Guarino. Because Trooper Nicholas Guarino, if we can go down here. There he is. There's Nicholas Guarino. Nicholas Guarino was involved in the Karen Reed case. And he was the one who extracted the data from Jen McCabe's phone and handed it over to the Commonwealth and the defense. Except that data that he handed over did not contain lots of shit. Like, the deleted Google search. And everything she deleted didn't come forward. Lally would later blame that on not having the right celebrate. Like, I got the video. When did he say this? I listened to Lally talk the other day. We got to bring this up real quick. Don't message me on Facebook because I got to show Facebook real quick. So don't message me on Facebook or your message will come up. Oh, wait, what did I just do? Yeah. All right. I listened to Lally the other day, which is just painful.
Unearthed from whatever source is really immaterial, but there's a deadline of no later than May 5th that those items, at least as far as the trace analysis and the criminalistics was concerned, would be completed, and I should expect something close to that date. I confirmed with the lab as of yesterday that timeline is still a viable one. The case is currently in technical review. So once that's completed, then we should have reports that I'm able to provide to counsel. As it pertains to the inspection and the return of the items from the lab to the Commonwealth's, at least the District Attorney's Office for the State Police's custody, one of the issues that we've had with that is that in order to facilitate some of the necessary DNA testing, some of that testing would be exhaustive. And in particular,
it's really exhaustive.
Sample that was recovered from the rear right quarter panel.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Myself to reach out to the lab and see if there was any. In response to the statement that every piece of evidence that's been provided thus far is inconsistent with the sample was subsumed during the course of testing with the lab.
Look at Reddington.
From counsel. I spoke to counsel numerous times. I sent emails. I heard no response as far as they're still contained at the lab is because the testing is still yet to be completed.
I mean, this guy talks for so long about nothing.
Who received that video, not Trooper Proctor. If I could just speak briefly as it pertains to Trooper Proctor, there is no conflict.
Oh, there's no
Proctor
conflict.
is not conflicted in this case. I indicated that specifically in some of the oppositions that were filed to the Rule 17. So there's been some photograph taken from a social media site, which is
photograph.
to be Trooper Proctor with one of the McCabe's children who are a witness in the case.
Oh yeah.
The child that's depicted in that particular photograph.
How come I can't pause this?
One of the McCabe's children.
Oh, it's not one of
them.
them.
4 daughters. That's not one of them. It's a
Hold on.
relative of Trooper Proctor. It has nothing to do with the McCabe's and nothing to do with this case. Whatever conflict counsel.
I mean, he's such a liar. There's no conflict. That's one of his daughters. Except it's not. It actually was Jennifer McCabe's daughters. Like, undoubtedly. Let me get back because there's one part of this I wanted to play.
In 60 days, if not 30 days, office who specifically who deals with forensic and
Okay, here we go.
whatever conflict counsel believes Trooper Proctor has just doesn't exist.
Doesn't
Now,
exist.
as far as the video was provided to Trooper Matthew Dunn of the CPAC unit with the District Attorney's Office.
So they're talking about the Canton Library video. Remember, 2 minutes of video or 3 minutes of video from Canton Library just disappeared when Kearney drove by. And listen to him explain where that video went. Like, how did it just disappear? You tell me.
That was then shared with Ms. Crawford. It was a person in our office who specifically deals with
Louis Justice, the town IT guy who I interviewed about this. He gets the video. He sends it to his office to a woman named Crawford. And what does she do with the video? The Canton Library video. What does she do with it?
Forensic and surveillance video and type evidence. It was then archived on our system. Recently, we reached out and spoke to the IT director with the town of Canton again. That share link I tried to send to council, email essentially wouldn't go through. We tried to open it.
The email, when we tried to send the video, but the email, imagine saying this. You would not get away. Like, if you went in front of your second grade teacher and gave this excuse, they'd be like, you're full of shit. The email wouldn't go through. What? And figure out how to get it to him.
Essentially, it won't open.
So
the link expired within 30 days within 60 days, if not 30 days of it being shared with our office. But the exact information that was provided by the town of Canton was archived by Ms. Crawford, was then provided to council.
Okay, so the town of Canton gave the district attorney's office all the video of the library, and we archived it. Now, we couldn't send it to the prosecution because we couldn't figure out how the email machine worked, so we couldn't do that. So they couldn't watch it, but we saved it. We archived it. Then what'd you do with it?
At her arraignment in Superior Court, as well as I was able to download it onto a Citrix file, which I then shared with council earlier this week.
Okay, so he downloaded it.
What we have is
So he downloaded it to a file, which he shared with the defense earlier in the week.
Video, what exists as a video. What we were given as a video for those relevant time frames was placed onto the archive within our system, was then placed onto a disk, and what's on the disk and what's been provided to council is what we received.
Okay, so they put it all on a disc. So everything they got from the town, the library video, they put it on a disc, and then they sent it. Okay, they have it. So they sent the whole disc of everything that they got from the IT department to the lawyers.
Okay.
And that's fucking it. And that's it. And at no point is the judge like, so where the fuck is the video? So where's the Canton? Like, where'd the 2 minutes go? That's just it. Oh, I sent it all. Well, you didn't. So can we figure this out? That's what a real judge would do, but not Auntie Bev. Okay.
All right. Your next motion?
You're next. What's next?
Mr. Jackson.
Okay.
Like, unbelievable. So Jackson talks, and then I come back to Lally there. They talk about the arm bites. Okay. He nails it, obviously, like he always does. There's Karen. Okay, then back to Lunchbox. Sorry, we're gonna have so much Lunchbox here.
Pieces of new information that we have.
What I'm going to do because of that, let's let Mr. Lally respond to
Yeah,
your
let's-
remarks on the question first.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Oh, this idiot.
First, I would state
Look at all his
it's an
papers.
interesting sort of straw man argument as far as it being road rash, or that the Commonwealth has always maintained that it's road rash on his arm. No one has ever said that, but counsel for the defendant. As far as the injuries are concerned to Mr. O'Keefe's right arm and right forearm, they've always and consistently been described as abrasions caused by blunt force trauma, not road rash. I'm not really sure where the road rash comes from.
Whatever you want to call it.
What I would submit in conjunction with that is, again, divorcing whatever evidence
I gotta
the
respect
defendant
this
claims from the context of the rest of the evidence and the rest of the case.
I mean, I just can't listen to this guy. Fuck him. I think we get the point there. He's a fucking liar. That's all he ever does is lie about shit. That's Lally. Okay. A couple other donos here to read out. Mario sends $5 and says the DA is just protecting itself and the state police at this point. Proctor and Guarino are involved. Yeah, we're going to talk about in the Brian Waldham case. Never heard of that, but maybe I will. So thank you very much for that. Also on the Turtle Chat, we got $20 from Loser. As a former employee of the law firm of Michael Morrissey that he helped create, what an embarrassment. He is a disgrace to the state and the legal profession. You goddamn right about that. 𝗃𝗏𝗂 sends $20 and says, for Turtle Riders. Thank you, 𝗃𝗏𝗂. And I just got another notification on my phone. Maybe that was it. From Susan. Susan sends $5. And do I have the message that she sends? Oh, it says, for maybe someone walking Chloe attacked John outside. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's what happened. Walking Chloe in the blizzard. So thank you very much for that. Again, if anyone else wants to donate before that, we're going to end soon and then we'll add it all up. Any last minute donos, like we just got one here at Turtle Chat. It's linked at the top. You can donate that way. Deanna sends $10 and says, any business would preserve any video after handing over. Never mind the government. Yeah, I mean, just like they just have no explanation for where that Canton Library video. I cannot wait for a trial. I cannot wait to get justice for Karen Reed, man. I cannot wait for her to be free. Oh, she deserves it, man. She deserves it. And we're all behind her, aren't we? We're all behind that woman. Like, after, like, what they, I mean, it's like they want us to support her more. It's like, what were you thinking, Morrissey? The story, lulled a little bit. It lulled a little bit. And then you brought it back to life. Like, wow, unbelievable. So back to Guarino. So Guarino's the trooper that somehow didn't, Trooper Guarino missed the data extraction. And somewhere, like during that hearing, I didn't want to listen to Lally. He says that Guarino just wasn't using the most updated software. That's why he missed the Jennifer McCabe, the deleted stuff. Because he wasn't using the updated Celebrate stuff. Well, I got news for you. The previous version of Celebrate also would have got the deleted stuff. So that's just a lie. And I thought he was an expert. The state police aren't updating their Celebrate. They missed it. Okay. Well, as it turns out, Guarino is either a moron or a criminal. Probably the latter. Because in the Sandra Birchmore case, when Matt Farwell handed over his phone to the state police, this is what he said. Through Matthew's attorney, consent was given for a data extraction, which was performed by Trooper Nick Guarino. I analyzed both of these phones and did not find any communication with Sandra Birchmore, the woman he impregnated and was having an affair with. Matt had said in a previous interview that he deleted all communications with Sandra. So if you delete things, Trooper Guarino can't figure out you foiled him. He can't figure it out. He can't find out how to get your deleted messages. He doesn't know how. He doesn't have the updated version of Celebrate. So he's fucked. He doesn't know what to do. So and last thing we'll talk about here, right? This other story that I broke today needs to be mentioned too. So, because sometimes I blog on the weekends. Now they have an answer for everything, right? We have evidence, proof. Again, according to the Trooper Proctor's report, he said that he went to Bill Reed's house at 4:30 in Dighton and noticed that the right taillight was shattered and had the car towed at 5:30. That's what he said in his report. The taillight was shattered and he had it towed at 5:30. Well, the state police did a search of Fairview Road at 5:45. So Michael Proctor, if he's telling the truth in his report, he could not have possibly broke the taillight and got it to 34 Fairview Road in time to plant it. Couldn't do it if he's telling the truth in his report. But alarm.com footage from Karen Reed's house shows the car being towed at 4:12 p.m. And you could see her taillight functioning. It's not shattered there. Oops. But don't worry. They have an answer for this. Number one was daylight savings. Like that was the laugh. Daylight savings. They said the clock did not update for daylight savings, except alarm.com automatically updates for daylight savings, and the sunset at 4:56 on that day. There is still light outside. So this could not be 5:12 p.m. as he claims it did. I mean, that's just so laughable. Daylight, that's the best they could come up with, was daylight savings. Except even if that was true, that they never reset for daylight savings, you fall back, right? It's spring ahead, fall back, right? So I get a little confused on this. Maybe you guys can help me out. But if you fall back, if they failed to reset the clocks, would that be 3:12 or 5:12? I got a little lost on this one sometimes, and I could be wrong. So I get really confused by this one. Maybe you guys can help me. And I've heard from both sides on this. If they did not set the clock back, would this say 3:12 or 5:12? Would this be 3:12 or 5:12? 5:12? Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it was 5:12. But I'm confused. It doesn't matter. Because the sun's out. So it can't be 5:12. It says the sun hasn't set yet. So it's 4:12. Looks like it's getting dark, but the sun hasn't set yet. Again, I've got like a popsicle headache doing the is it 3:12 or 5:12 to think about? And I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter because it automatically resets. But that was their excuse. It was daylight savings, and their other excuse was, well, this picture at 4:12 just shows the car being put on. It's still at an incline. By the way, that hair, they want you to believe that a fucking hair and one piece of taillight is sitting on her bumper after driving all the way in a blizzard and gets towed back and stays on the car. That's what they want you to believe. Okay. And it's like, come on, look at that. So their other saying is, well, yeah, it shows it being put on there at 4:12, but it didn't get towed. What if it didn't get towed till 5:30? You don't see it getting towed. This is how committed these people are to the lie. They'll come up with something else. Don't worry, we got receipts for that too. That's what award-winning investigative journalists do. We just go and research more. And we went and pulled the Canton police logs, the Dighton police logs, and it says, clear as day right there, public records request, that the tow arrived at 3:27 p.m. and the entire scene was cleared at 4:17. What does cleared mean? It means the car is gone and the troopers are gone. The police are gone at 4:17 p.m. That's it. He was out by 4:17. He says he arrived at 4:30 and had the car towed at 5:30. It's a lie. It is a fucking lie. He is unaccounted for that entire time. So we did that. And if this district attorney's office was at all committed to the truth, they would say, oh yeah, you're right. We can't move forward with this case because this is all going to get presented at trial. But that fat fuck, Michael Morrissey, is like, you know what? We're going to come on and call you a liar for even talking about this and say, how dare you dishonor Michael Proctor and Colin Albert? Poor Colin Albert. And think about what Colin Albert, he had so much going for him in life before this happened.
Bitch, bro. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, you pussy.
Clean cold, boy. You be knocked out. KO. Bang, bang.
Gotta be nice to that kid. You gotta be nice to that poor kid. He's such a victim. Be nice to Colin Albert, will you? Give me a freaking break. Give me a break. Okay. One more turtle chat. From Mike, sends $5, says, please read the story of Morrissey when he ordered pizza and passed out behind the wheel. Oh, I'm going to. That's my next plug. So I'll give you a preview. In 2013, Michael Morrissey caused a 4-car accident in the middle of the day. Middle of the day. He was clearly shit-faced. And claims, without any evidence, that he was not drunk driving. That he did his own tests and they're clean. We never saw it. He was never charged. Guess which district attorney's office was in charge of looking into him? It can't be Norfolk, obviously. It was Worcester. Joe Early, the same guy who did Troopergate, the most corrupt district attorney in the state. He's more corrupt than Michael Morrissey. He investigated Michael Morrissey and said that Michael Morrissey wasn't drunk. And that's the end of it. And he said his excuse was it was hot that day. I guess he didn't have AC in his car and he just ordered a pizza. And so he just passed out. He just passed out behind the wheel of a car and caused a 4-car accident and sent a whole bunch of people to the hospital. Don't you hate when that happens? He did his own tests and he investigated himself. Him and the Bebo guy, Joe Early, they investigated themselves and they didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. So we'll have a story on that coming. I'm going to add these all up now. I've got a couple cash apps. Just want to add to it. Anthony sends 20 and says, for fuck Wendy Murphy. I think that's a good way to end it there. So let me add this up. Let's just add them up now. Let's see what we got. So you guys said 3,500. Let's see what we got here. 100 and 210. And let's see, what does this add up to? 260. 260 plus 50, 310. This is 210 plus 250, and then 300 we're up to, or no, 400 we're up to, 400 plus another 525, 525, 625, 635, 635 plus 4675, 700, yeah, 700. I'll double check these just afterwards. 755, 765. So that's one column down. We got 5 columns here. First column, 765. Next column. See, 20, 50, see, 120, 145. Okay. 245, 255, 355, 405, 415, 515, 585. I think that's, yeah, 585. You guys are watching me do math now. Happy Friday. Happy Saturday. 685, 695, 745. And again, I'm going to double check this afterwards, but I'm going to get an estimate here. 845 plus 75 is 820. No, 920. 920. Carry the one. 920 plus 50 is 970. 990. 990 plus 40 is 1,030. So that's 765 plus 1030. We got 2 columns done. Next column, column 3. 50, 150. Let's see, 150, 175, 185. 185 plus, you got it, 50, yeah, 185. Okay. 185 plus 60 is 245. 245 plus 65 is 310. Okay. And 100. So 410, 510. 510 plus 75 is 585. 585 plus 10, 595, 615, 690. 690 plus 40 is 730 plus 25. I should just put these all into a calculator. Hold on. 690, 730, 755. 755 plus 80 is 835. 835 plus 30 is 860. 910. 930 is our third column. 930 is our third column. Next, should we just, do you guys mind watching me do math? Am I boring you by doing math here? Okay. Let's see. You need your wife for the math. You want done. I mean, I could just put these in a calculator. All right. So we're 3 columns in now. Dude, this might be like $4,000. All right. 50 plus 25, 75, 175. Okay. 175 up to 205. 305. 305 plus 30 is 335. Okay. 330, 365. Let's see. 390. We got 400, 430. 530. 540. 590. 640, 660. 685. 685 plus 50, 735. 745. 845 and 870 is our fourth column. Last column. 10 and 15, 25, 50, 100. There's 100 right there. 200, 245. Okay. 245 plus 30 is 275. Okay. Up to 300. Now we got 10 and 20, 30, 340. We got 340. Now we're up to 380. Okay. 480. Okay. 480 plus 50 is 530. 535 plus 40 is 575. 580. 590. 595 and 20 is 615. Okay. So we're going to add up these 5 numbers. Okay. These are our 5 columns. I'm going to add it right now. All right. And we got 2 more donos I got to read. Okay, so we got to add these to it. David sends 10 and says, I wish it was more as a fat paunchy Mick. I feel like I should apologize for Morrissey. I know, me too. But I won't. Fuck fat Morrissey. Thank you very much. And then we have over here, K Max sends $75 and says, happy birthday, Mr. Reed. Justice for John O'Keefe. Michael Morrissey is a loser. A loser. So let's add these all up right now. I'm going to get my calculator out here. Okay. We are going to add 7. So this is just an estimate. Again, I'll double check these, but I just wanted a general idea. Plus 1,030. So 765 plus 1,030 plus 930 plus 870 plus 615 plus 85 equals $4,295. Half of that is roughly $2,150, right? There we go. So that's a rough estimate of what we raised tonight for the Karen Reed Legal Defense Fund. Thank you guys so fucking much. Thank you guys so fucking much. And because, you know, oh, and Wayne Moore, we got 5 more from Wayne. So make that an even 4,300. He sends us 5 more. So 4,300. So divide that by 2, you get 2,150, right? That's what's going. So that's what you did, Michael Morrissey. You helped raise $2,150 for the Karen Reed Legal Defense Fund. Last time we did this 50-50 thing, we raised less than half of that. But you did that, Michael Morrissey. A big fuck you to you. People are behind Karen Reed. They're behind John O'Keefe. And they fucking hate you. Everyone fucking hates you. And for good reason. Because you're an evil, monstrous scumbag that no decent person should associate with. No. And I'd like to start hearing from some attorneys. Can we get some attorneys to start coming forward and just blasting this motherfucker? I know you might have to practice law in front of him. Who gives a fuck? guy's a piece of shit. I want to start hearing from some attorneys who want to start blasting this guy. Oh, and another 20 for Patty C. So now we're up to 43.10 because she donates on Rumble and says, keep up the good work, you loser. Or did I get that one already? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any questions they want to talk about? Sorry I didn't get to a lot of the other stuff. It's been a busy freaking night, man. What a great night this has been for Karen Reed and Justice in America. And like I said, I'll be in Quincy Wednesday, baby. I will be in Quincy Wednesday. That is part of my tour to Norfolk County. It's going to begin in Quincy, the biggest city in Norfolk County, where Michael Morrissey is from. We will be crashing his event on Wednesday at Adams Inn. And I hope to see some of you guys there. How much do you think Morrissey weighs? Apparently less than Donald Trump weighs. Do you know what the over-under on what his weight was going to be was 278.5, but his mugshot says 215? Like, come on. Stop it. Stop it. Any chance the defense is going for dismissal? They might. It's not going to work, but they might. They got to. But again, I think the defense just they probably will just to like have it on record when they appeal it. Not that, like, I would assume they're going to appeal some of this other shit too. I would hope. Yeah, Bob Motta was extremely popular with Turtleboy, with Turtle Riders, and those West Virginia boys, Steve and Dan. They were great too. Shout out to them. And Sleuthy, the new girl on Twitter, who's been doing some great work there. And that other chick, Truth and Transparency, did a really interesting stream today where she compared Jen McCabe's cell phone data to John O'Keefe's. Check her out too. Check her out too. Yeah. Man, you guys are fucking awesome. We rule, huh? We rule. We're doing this, guys. This is the most uniting story we've ever had here at Turtleboy. You know, have us get behind. Lena's, yeah, shout out to Lena, the attorney. Oh, there's two Lenas. Lena's from Truth and Transparency, and Lena, the attorney from Los Angeles, who went on and, you know, to her credit, didn't call Wendy Murphy a raging cunt, even though she is. What's 3860? Did I do the math wrong? I'm going to have to do this all over again. I'm going to punch it into a machine. Yeah, Mr. More Whiskey. All right. Anyone else have any questions they want to ask? If not, we'll call it a night. Let me check Rumble too. Who would win in a fight, Matt or Mike? Matt who? Can you? Oh, of course I'm going to go live when I go. Of course I'm going to go live from the barbecue. You even have to ask that question? No, I'm not even being generous, you know, because you guys donated the money. Like, I don't make $4,000 on a show normally, obviously not. So, yeah, I mean, it worked out well for me, and it worked out well for Karen Reed's Defense Fund. And God bless you guys all. So thank you very much. I hope Barstool Sports brings up some new blood like Turtleboy. I mean, I'm 41 under the umbrella since Portnoy is 100% in charge. Again, Barstool has a completely different brand for me. They do their thing, and I do. I'm not a competitor of theirs. I never will be, and never was. I am not trying to do anything like they do. They do sports and, you know, guess that ass and, you know, pop culture shit. Not my cup of tea. They would never do stories like the ones I'm doing, and that's fine. Yeah, sorry I didn't get to do Where You're Repping. A little bit late. Got caught up. We'll do it next week. Again, and Where You're Repping, it's like, it's so hard now with all the people. Could we FOIA the 11 people in the house or not? No. Yeah. But do you think Morrissey is going for a mistrial? No. I think Morrissey just is a fucking corrupt piece of shit. That's all it comes down to. Any shows coming up? Yeah, we need to do a live one. Definitely need to do a live one in person. All right, so it's getting pretty late. I'm not gonna lie. Did I miss any fucking? We got any more? Oh, interesting. Interesting. I want to be anonymous. Here are possible numbers. You didn't send any, sir. And Patricia sent another $20 in Cash App, so thank you, Patricia. I'll have to factor that in. Okay. Does Dighton wear body cameras? Good question. Not sure. The billboard unveiling. Talk to Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco, a good guy. He's doing great work for the Karen Reed Legal Defense Fund, and as a lot of people are in that group. So ask him. He's kind of like running that whole thing. Nice people, the Roccos. I like them. The black box data, which you haven't seen, is leaving me 50-50 on Karen. If you're 50-50 on Karen Reed's guilt, sir, you're a fucking retard. And that's all there is to it, sir. I'm sorry to use that word, but there's no other way around it. So there was a big party at Tim Albert's today. Interesting. I should have gone. Oh, I wish I knew. I would have gone. Did you get the DPW records? Yeah, I do. I'm going to show some. I got a blog coming on those too. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going on a new show. I'm going on a show Monday night. So I'm going on the show Monday night, The Young Jerks. Check them out. It's like a play on the Young Turks. They are a radical leftist, or I don't know. I think they're leftist. And so like they're probably going to take a lot of heat for having me on. And that's fine. But I love it. Like I love to show that this case crosses partisan lines. Like that's the beauty of this. That this is not, you can't even be like even people who hate me and disagree with me on everything we have to unite on this one. The corruption needs to be exposed. Hey, Coral, you local moron. No, Mike's the Young Jerks Monday night. Yes, we are radical left. We can't. Yes. See, that's what I love about this. There we go. And we're like, we're going to talk about how I'm going to promote a Soros funded district attorney candidate to take down Michael Morrissey when he runs for re-election. That's what we're going to talk about amongst other things. So, all right, guys, we're going to call it a night. And thank you guys all for joining me and supporting justice for Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. And we will see you guys all. I'll see you guys on the Young Jerks on Monday night and then my show Tuesday night. And we're going to have a busy week. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.